Well, shall we start?
Yeah.
Get on.
Let's.
Okay. I will start. Yeah, right there, Jim.
Yeah, I was just really reaching for something.
Did you just print? Did you print off your work pad?
No, it's on my flyers. But I was looking for a flyer.
Wow. All right, here we go.
Oh, what fun we have.
It's because it's early morning, isn't it? I'm all afluster.
Discombobulated.
Yeah. Time-space continuum, mate. I was mind blown.
Should be real fun this morning. Hello, welcome to the Retro Asylum, the UK's #1 retro gaming podcast. As you can tell, I'm with the crazy lot trying to interrupt me, and even though it's been months since I've been on, I cannot be broken. Let's see, who do we have with me from Denmark?
That'd be you, Chris, right? No, sorry, that's me. Spot on.
That did actually sound really good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. What did he say, Mads?
I've got no idea. Nothing really.
No, nothing. Gibberish. And we also have the other crazy Game Club alumni, Mr. Chris Worthington.
Hello. So you say you cannot be broken, mate. That's what you say.
I can't be. Nope.
Let's see how you feel in 90 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's see if I'm going to be completely shattered by the end of this one. I think we'll see. And of course, we have the newest. I don't have to be I'm not the newest host anymore. I don't have to take the trash out. We got a new guy that can take all the rubbish out. We got Jim.
Hello. Good morning.
How are you?
Yeah. All good. Thank you, mate. You?
I'm great. I'm excited. This is one that I kind of wanted to do as soon as we announced we were going to put the Game Club kind of on hiatus /hold / put it to bed for a while. It was something that so many listeners kind of came in and kind of, some were a little upset, some understood. Most of them are understanding. They weren't really upset. I think they were just sad to see something that they're so used to, myself included, over all of these years, kind of take a break. And so we had so many nice messages. I thought, I think because I've been involved in the Game Club, not since the beginning, but pretty close, I kind of wanted to just bring this and kind of put a little bow around it. And I kind of thought it would be fun to just talk about it, talk about the memories, and I don't know, just kind of wax lyrical. Maybe it's a little self-indulgent, but we get to wax lyrical about old games all the time. This one's just going to be kind of free form. I have kind of a structure, and I don't know. I thought it was just going to be fun. You guys didn't have to prepare too much, which is going to be nice for you to kind of ease into it. It is the middle of the night for me. These guys made me stay up all night so that they could enjoy their coffee, and why I struggle through the middle of the night. So we'll see how this goes. I think it's going to be good. I'm excited. You guys excited?
So he's already putting the excuses out there for not being able to control us. And if you think it's easy enough to control Chris and I, just wait until the turbo toddler down there gets started. So.
Is that me, is it?
Wait until he starts kicking his USB lead and chomping on his bacon butty. That's when you're going to have a real problem.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know how
to... Don't ask him to do anything technical. Just don't. It's too early in the morning.
Plug his mic in or put his headphones on, because then we're in real trouble.
This is the problem, isn't it, of using wired headphones. Honestly, it's like someone had been trying to do cross stitch with them.
I watched you unwind it for about 5 minutes. I thought, gosh, as much money as it just took you just to unwind those just in the time. You probably should have just bought you a wireless set. Amazon probably could have gotten you one there in time. Just ordering them,
Well, by the way, I have a wired one that I've been using for the past 6 years. I've never ever had a problem. So,
well, I have got a wireless headphone, and this is going to back matters up. I can't get it to work. it's buffering. I can't get it to work with my computer.
Got to be buffering.
Although running Windows 7.
To be fair, I'm the one who always has the wrong microphone selected. So
are we on the right mic today, Chris?
It's difficult to tell. So we use Zencastr, right? The listeners probably don't know this. We use like an online web-based platform called Zencastr. And once you start recording, you can't check your call settings. It really annoys me. So I have like rampant anxiety right throughout the recording that I'm on the wrong microphone. I think I'm on the correct one.
Because all you can see is a waveform, isn't it?
I can't even see my waveform though. That's the thing.
Weird.
I'm going to start recording in Audacity right now.
So, listeners, if you hear a clear change in quality of Chris from right about now, you'll know what happened.
Now we'll know what happened. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Well, I thought we'd do a quick catch up. It's been probably 3-ish months since. I think the last one I did was when we were going to decide what the next game was. Me and Chris rocked on the YouTube.
You were on one with Dean and Steve, right? In August?
No. Skid marks.
Skid marks. That was
that's long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
No,
the
Conkers.
Wasn't that bad.
It was super skid marks. That's how bad it was. Yeah. No, it was ages ago. It's been ages.
Too long.
I've just been super busy with, honestly, with, it sounds like a broken record. I have another new job since I left my last one. So here I are pushing 2.5 months at this new place. It's a pretty cool place though. We make bows. So if you've watched the Olympics there in Paris, more than half of them use the bows that we produce, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, only one plant in the world, so it's called Hoyt. I sent you guys a picture of me holding the Rambo's bow. Do you guys remember that? Yeah. We built the Rambo's bow back in the 80s. Of course, I was a kid. I wasn't around. I've only been there a couple months, but they had one in the archive that was so cool. I got to go hunt it down. So
yeah, that sounds cool.
That was pretty cool. So anyway, cool place to be. So Mads, what have you been doing these last few months since I've chatted with you?
Oh, I've been playing far too many games with Chris and Jim on playthrough, and here on Retro Sound as well. So, even though we say the game club has been put into hiatus, it really just means that we've ramped up the number of games that we're playing, because now we get to control and pick them ourselves. So, so more episodes are coming than ever before, I believe. Been playing through actually one game that I'm really looking forward to recording on, and I think we have mentioned this on an episode before, but I am playing through Resident Evil for the first time and absolutely loving it. So looking forward to recording with Chris and Jim and a special guest later on that.
Yeah, it should be good. Chris?
Yeah.
Playing far too many games?
Yeah, always. So on that theme, I've been playing through the Goblin series.
The wonderful goblins. You got to get your superlatives in there, mate.
So that's going to be a really fun episode because, Jesus Christ, those games. Do you know what, though? I say, I have a right whinge about the games and aspects of the gameplay that I really struggle with. But then I'm always excited to play the next one. So I'm up to the fourth one now, which isn't really a retro game because it came out in 2009. Managed to bring my Windows XP PC back from the dead. It wasn't doing anything. So I took it all apart and give it a good dust off and put it all back together. And it worked. Hey, presto.
Nice.
I'm such a technical whiz. I just give everything a bit of a shake and a bit of a blow, reseated everything, and it all fired up, which was lovely. So I've got Goblins 4 to play on that. And I've had a quick look at it. It is... I feel like these modern trappings are actually going to suit me when it comes to goblins.
Yeah. I've never played Goblins 4 myself, and I've heard it's horrible, but I haven't tried it.
Mate, it cannot be any worse than Goblins 2.
But that's a masterpiece, mate. This is the beauty of the game. I love
I
it.
cannot wait for this episode. This is gonna
It's
be
many things. Well, a masterpiece is not one of them.
Mad, you've talked these games up so much over the years.
But they're so
They can't
good.
ever live up to the hype, can they?
No.
Now?
They're so good.
Well, let's see. We'll wait. We'll come back. And community playthrough still going strong, and which is this game club in another form, isn't it? Playing through all of those series of games. Although we are starting now to move into non-retro territory in some of the series. So with the Zelda games, we're up to 2001. The next Metroid game is Metroid Prime 2, which was 2004, I want to say.
Yeah.
So we are starting to get into modern times now with some of those series. Not all of them. Final Fantasy is still on Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Metal Gear is going to be coming into the PSP era now, isn't it?
yeah,
Which I suppose is still retro.
Well,
But-
I don't know. Don't tell Dean Swain. Said that. 2005 for him is like yesterday in terms of games. But yeah, I mean, 2005. It will be covered by Retro Gamer, put it that way, the PSP, which is a controversial thing to say.
I think it was fairly recently, either last issue or the issue before that. There was a big PSP spread, weren't there? So
I think the PSP Ridge Racer game is featured in this current issue as well.
nice.
Yeah, they can't just keep rehashing the same old stuff, can they? They've got to broaden their appeal. But at the moment, we're playing through the Zelda this month. It's been the Oracle's games on the Game Boy Color, which I've absolutely adored, really loved. Although the back half of Ages is probably you split it into four, kind of each game in two halves. I would say the back half of Oracle of Ages for me is the weakest section, but I am on the final boss now, so that is all. I'm trying to get it done before the end of the month.
Wow, you have rattled through that one.
Yeah, Ages is shorter, mate.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be. Whether it's the dungeons are not taking me as long to get through, just because I understand the language of the gameplay and stuff like that. So maybe there's something in that. The bosses are much more straightforward. It seems. I don't think I've died once, right up to the final boss. Whereas in Seasons, most of the bosses I die at least a couple of times. But then there is when you finish the second of the two, you then go into like an ultimate boss, which I think is Ganon. You end up fighting Ganon, which I from the little snippets I've read is the hardest boss battle in the entire Zelda series. So I'm looking forward to that like a hole in the head.
That's pretty.
I'm still working my way through Seasons. It's a great game, but I'm stuck on finding the entrance to the fifth dungeon, I think. Something like that, but I haven't had time to pick it up again.
It does get a bit convoluted. I think some of the entries into the dungeons gets a bit, but especially in Ages, you got to go back and forwards between the two time eras. You got to do something in one era which unlocks something in another, and so on and so forth. It can get a little bit tedious, to be honest. But still, I mean, for the technology those games are running on, wowzers! What an
great games.
achievement.
Yeah.
That's fun. Jim.
Yeah, so outside of the Zelda, because I'm playing that as well. But I got my Dreamcast. My Dreamcast came home. So a few months ago, I ripped out the disk drive in my Dreamcast because it wasn't running games anymore. Installed a GDMU, installed a new power supply, and then it wouldn't boot up.
Oh my gosh.
How rude!
Oh no. So when I was at Revival a couple of months ago now, I handed the console over to Claire over at Retro Repair Bear. And yeah, it's all working. The SD card, it turns out, that was in the GDMU hadn't been formatted correctly and partitioned correctly, which is a little bit annoying because I bought one directly from a seller on Etsy, so that's a bit annoying.
Yeah.
And then it turns out there was a problem. So again, I bought a cheap 3D printed adapter for the switch, for the power, for the fan mod, and so the lid wouldn't close. So that serves me right for buying cheap 3D printed parts. So
What you get, mate?
yeah, I know. So she printed off a new part for that, sorted out the ribbon cable on the GDMU, and it is all good. It is working perfectly now.
I love the Dreamcast.
Yeah, same. But it just cause obviously because it came out with you guys like September, didn't it, in '99?
Yeah.
So it's been sort of all over my social feed. So it's been nice to have that back and sort of dip into a few games. We're playing a little bit.
We all know you're just playing Sonic Adventure, and that's it.
I did play a little bit of Sonic Adventure, but it's that first level, isn't it? And then after that, it's kind of downhill with Sonic Adventure. But the first level's great.
So like every other Sonic game in history?
No. I'll go and die on that hill. The first level in Sonic Adventure's awesome.
Where does she base, Jim?
I think she's part of Hidden Chess Gaming, so like in the Midlands.
Okay, I've got a Saturn that needs recapping, which is on my floor next to me here.
Yeah, just drop her an email, mate. I'll send. She's on like Facebook, Retro Repair Bear, and all the rest of it. But yeah, I'll send you the email across.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I do need to do that. It's been a little while since we last played the game club. What was the last Saturn game we played in the game club?
Keo
Flying Squadron.
No, sorry. It was I played Police Notes on it. I played Police Notes, Pain and Rinse. And it was my Saturn. I have to leave it for I switch it on and I have to leave it for 10 minutes, and then I switch it off and switch it on again, and then I get a display.
Ooh,
nightmare.
That's dangerous.
Which I think the caps are pretty much gone.
Yeah,
sounds like it.
Can you hear it squealing above the TV?
Yeah, it doesn't. It's got a definite funny smell. I once had an Amiga that needed to be recapped. And you get that. What's that? It's like that. It's like a dead
smell.
body, isn't it? There's nothing else that quite smells like it. Do you know what I mean?
Nasty. Yeah,
I can't say I've smelled that though.
Bleeding caps. It smells.
Oh, you've
like
never smelled leaky caps? They're
no.
I mean, you pull.
I've heard about it, but
apart. Oh, they're horrendous.
It's unlike any other smell. It's like one of those things that when you smell it, literally you'll know. That's what they mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tried to think because my Vectrex got recapped a while ago, but that wasn't quite that bad. That it was getting stinky caps.
Yeah.
Yep. I can't look at caps though and say, "Oh yeah, look at them." You know, they're in a bad way. You see videos on YouTube, don't you, of people like, "Oh, look at this guy." It just looks like a circuit board to me.
Nah, just look at the top of the caps. If they're totally
balloon.
Yeah, if they're like bulging, almost ready to pop in the top.
It's the ones that have little crosses in them.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're good, smooth,
if they're flat,
they're good.
It's
But if they're you'll see them bulging out.
Well,
if they're bulging just a little bit, it's starting to be a problem. And if they look like they're about to burst, they are actually about to burst. But I had a PC motherboard for my Windows 8 98 PC where 80% of them were just bulging like crazy. It was starting to be flaky.
And I assume if one of those goes, that's end of game over.
Not necessarily, but you start getting 80%, your PC probably won't boot.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. My Saturn needs some love.
Mine started just having some troubles with the CD drive. So some of the capacitors that was sitting over there with some logic that connected the CD, I guess, was starting to have problems. And then that's why I changed all of them.
Okay.
I really got to get into learning how to do that. And that's the one terrifying thing about owning all these old boxes is they're just ticking time bombs.
Yeah.
Oh, I say I changed them. I didn't. I hand them over to a guy who knew how to change them.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah, I luckily have those people in my life too, but it's like I would love to learn to do it at some point.
Yeah, me too.
Jim's good at all that stuff. The problem is after he's done it, it never works.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, I want to do the monitor on my arcade cabinet, but
oh god,
I can see that going pear shaped and me ending up with an LCD in there.
And they can be dangerous, those, mate, because it's one of those old CRT monitors. They hold their charge. So
they do, but I mean, they're not too. They're pretty simple to discharge.
Next time we see Jim, he'll look like Doc from Back to the Future.
How'd you get hair back?
Well,
that's good stuff.
he's on record as saying it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Right. That's good.
But yeah, other than that, mate, yeah, just playing a bit of Dreamcast again, which is all good. What about you, mate?
Have you been playing anything, Mark? Or have you just been buying loads of stuff?
Probably been, well, no, I haven't been playing a lot, and it's really because I've been mostly working, and it's kind of been, we'll probably get deeper into it as we start talking about the game club, because it does give you that focus. And when I don't have something to focus on, I don't know if it's ADHD or whatever, then my focus is everywhere. And so my room is kind of destroyed again. I'm rearranging it again. I don't think I'm never satisfied. So,
Mark, do we ever get to the part where it's rearranging? Because, I mean, you need to be done for it to be rearranged, right? So aren't you just constantly in arranging part?
But that's part of the fun with having these game rooms, isn't it? Because they're always changing. The stuff in there is always changing.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make it so it's not so cluttered. I was trying to just have everything hooked up. Now I'm like, okay, I have just a handful of things hooked up, and I'm gonna have an open spot, which is right there. That's gonna just be open, so I can always just bring in a small CRT or.
So here's a tip: if you want it to be less cluttered.
Okay.
Stop accepting free stuff constantly.
How can I?
Maybe trim your Amigas down from 23 to, I don't know, like 3?
I know. Yeah, it's bad. No, and I've just found a VGA monitor. I told you guys, I think I sent pictures, this VGA monitor at a thrift shop. Beautiful NEC, multi-sync.
That is
$20.
a find, actually.
That is. At that price as well, it'd be criminal to not pick that up.
I just snuck that one in the house. The wife never ever saw it come in. So
good job.
Mate, I imagine, looking up behind you, the listeners can't see this, but I imagine your wife gave up a long time ago.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she's.
Do you even know what you've got in there? Never mind her.
No, no, not really. No, it's bad. Yeah, one of these days I'll have to do a hoarder's tour. That would be a good video on Retro Slime. See if I could get some people that will be like, you need a psychiatrist, and this is what you need to do.
I think if you did like a drive sale or a garage sale there, I reckon you'd have people coming from all corners of the earth.
Yeah. And I have so much stuff, and it's sad. I've even got stuff in the garage, which is not where I like to have anything, but. I've got 4 kids. I got to put the kids somewhere. I can't kick them out of every room of the house as much as I like.
They could sleep in an Amiga or something.
Just tuck in tight. Yeah.
I love that. There's everyone's got their quirks. Like you are the hoarder and the arranger, and then you've got Blake, who will spend 2 days setting up an emulator to run the game club game and then never play it.
They never play it again. Yeah. I have a fascination with old hardware. I don't know what it is. I just enjoy it. And I've got the Mister set up, right? And I just would rather plug in a cartridge in the NES and look at it through a composite monitor. I don't know what's wrong with me.
The hobby is different things to everyone.
Yeah, I guess that's what makes it beautiful. Yeah. Fair. It's a fair
comment. And it comes in phases, right? Because I had a phase just 6 months ago where I would be playing everything on my Mister because it was on the CRT, and the controllers were like replicas of the old systems anyway, so it felt just right. But the past 4 or 5 months, I haven't turned on the Mister. I've only used old hardware. So I've been playing with my old Amiga 500 and some of the other 8-bit micros, and so it just comes and goes for me.
Do I think after playing the Oracle's games on the Analog Pocket, I'm not sure I'm ever going to go back now to playing an original Game Boy Color.
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. I mean, the Analog Pocket is the perfect Game Boy.
Oh,
yeah.
It is just makes everything, the way the controls feel, the screen, it feels just like a perfect form factor as well, size, doesn't it, for the hands?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I know it's a premium product. It's not, it is a bit of a luxury item, but it's really hard to go back to that old hardware, even modded. Once you've had that.
High resolution monitor. I have some people here that have them. I don't have one myself, but it's one of those things where the logic makes sense where I could ditch some of my handhelds, because I agree. I don't think I'd ever use a different or an old Game Boy once I got one. So maybe I should just sell those and get one. It's kind of
if you want the analog, the idea is to get rid of the old hardware, but keep your games, because the built-in cores, they're so beautiful with their filters, and it feels just right popping in a cartridge and playing that game. I like that.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I need to do that, and they're all coming back in stock now, which is nice.
Yeah, they've just released a new line, haven't they, with some new colours, the transparent purple one, like the old.
They were based on the original Game Boy Pocket.
Yeah. They know exactly
Game
what
Boy
they're
Color,
doing.
weren't they?
Oh yeah. They
it's
know
good
the market.
marketing.
It's really good for them. Well, should we start waxing lyrical? You guys ready?
Ready.
So ready.
Go for it.
All right. Well, first, I kind of wanted to get what you. This is going to be more for Chris and Mads because me and Jim came in late. I know Jim's a veteran as well because we've been playing on the Game Club forever, and Jim's come to some episodes with us as well. But for Chris and Mads, what made you decide to put this on hold? Why did you decide let's put the Game Club on hold or hiatus? Because it kind of, for me, it came out of the blue, but not really. Like I kind of understood why. But
Mads, do you want to take it?
Yeah, both for Chris and I, and actually for a lot of the listeners on Discord, it was starting to just get stale. We had less and less people getting involved, and people would only be involved for the first week, and then it'd be done. So I think the magic just kind of left, didn't it, at some point, because we've been doing it for so long. I'm looking at the list of games here that you pasted in. We've been playing 73 games in the Game Club over the years.
Consecutive months.
and that's actually even more months because RPG games are 2 months. So so we've been doing this for a long, long time, and people have been having fun. But at the same time, sometimes you just need a break, don't you? Yeah. So it was starting to be a bit of a chore for me for the last 6 months, I think, and that also meant that I didn't spend enough time with the games because I actually wanted to be doing something else. And I think you felt the same, Chris, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a sudden thing for us, I don't think. I think it was a very gradual thing, actually, a gradual sense of fatigue and malaise with it a little bit. And, Mads and I kind of have chatted before about, look, what can we do? Right, let's refocus, let's do this. Mark, you were brought in just to freshen it up, and I think that definitely worked, in that you did bring some more energy to it, you brought a different perspective. Yeah. But I think Mads is right. I think it doesn't. The clips have been that we're going to play are very kind and very lovely. Actually, it's a real source of pride that we've managed to bring so many people in and everyone's enjoyed it. And there's a lot of talk about it being hard work. It's not really hard work, to be honest, man. We're sitting playing video games and then talking about it. It's not really hard work. But you need to play the games for a start. And that is an investment, and that's fun, but it is an investment. And then it does take a good few hours of research to pull together the notes, and you gotta be reasonably informed, although we still make mistakes on everyone and everything, but that's all fine. Normally it's Mads correcting some of the waffle that I come out with. So I think when you do that month after month after month, inevitably there's going to come a point when you start to tire of it.
And let's be honest, what really killed it was the Xbox, right? And the racing games.
Oh my goodness. Y'all are killing me.
That was the final nail in the coffin. And then it's funny because every now and again we'd rally, and what actually prompted the decision, was right, come on, we need to catch up on this. And then, Mads actually said, look, I'm not sure I want to. And I said, neither do I. And that's when you kind of face reality that it started to become more of a habit than something that you actually look forward to. And it's like, okay, well, this is what we do. And I think that probably reflected in maybe some of the later episodes on the Game Club. A few people have remarked that on the most recent episodes, there's a bit more energy, there's a bit more kind of enthusiasm for it.
Yeah, definitely.
It was the right thing to do at the right time, I think.
Yeah, cool. What do you think, Jim?
I think you picked some Xbox bangers, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, I knew I liked you. Yeah.
Jim is known to have questionable taste in video games. He likes the Blue Hedgehog, so there's no reason to listen to him there.
I think we're the two outcasts, Jim, and that's okay.
Yeah, so I was looking back through the list, and I started playing along with you guys when it was Streets of Rage. So not quite the early days, but still early-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, just look how long it's been going. The community that's come together around it. You've got gamers from all over the place. So many different people. Just you should be really proud of what you've done. And guys, it's like outlasted a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
And it's not the end of Retro Asylum, and I think King Treelo's been taking the mickey on that, hasn't he, and poking fun at some of the eulogies. Far from it. This is just a format of a type of episode is just being put into deep sleep for a while.
Yeah,
I'm almost convinced. I was thinking about this morning. I'm almost convinced the Game Club will come back.
I mean, it's something you can bring back easily. I mean, we've got those old top tens episodes that Mads was doing. There's a Game Club episode in each of them in there. So there's loads of ways you can bring it back.
And as we've said, if the Game Club is a group of people playing the game together, and then those guys coming on a podcast to talk about it. It hasn't really gone away. Resident Evil, Goblins. We did an episode on Castlevania for the community playthrough. So if you're on our Discord, you will know that really the Game Club has gone away only really in name.
Yeah.
We've just removed the annoying democracy part.
Exactly. Get rid of it.
Gone straight to dictatorship instead.
Yeah.
You bring in the Yank and he just puts the band hammer down, changes the rules. Yeah, it's rude. It's rude. I can't believe I did that. No, and I agree. I feel like as towards the end here for me, I was having a really hard time with getting the time, and I felt like I wasn't giving it my full 100% either. As you guys know, I'm like a workaholic, so that's kind of part of the problem. And I'd get home, and I'm either just too tired, and it was just easier to just sit down and watch a YouTube video or a show and just fall asleep, kind of a thing, than to set up the game and get it going. And I mean, but every game I played, I absolutely adored having that time, and not being on an episode here for the last 3 months. It's given me some serious anxiety. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't done one forever, but I've sure enjoyed sitting here listening to like the interviews. You guys on the Castlevania episode is great. And really, it's like you guys said, nothing's really changing outside of, we don't have something that's coming out kind of the first week of every month on point, but there's still things dropping. If you can believe it, me, Dean, and Steve actually set a date for our Knight Rider episode.
Oh, nice.
So, that's coming.
The cats have been herded.
I've been saying that for 2 years. But
I thought I could hear some scratching and meowing going on, Chris.
But so just some fun stuff like that's coming. I'm excited about it. But so I've got a couple of questions here that I kind of just some simple facts that kind of make kind of interesting about the Game Club. How many different platforms have we gone through? This is why I don't want you guys to study this list very hard. What do you think?
I'm gonna have a random guess. 12.
Okay. What do you think, Mads?
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I'm just counting in my head, but I think Chris is very close. I'm going to do the safe thing and say 11.
Okay.
I'm going to go 15. 15. And I've just realised there's not a single Game Gear game in there.
No Game Gear. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You guys are 28.
28.
What?
28.
28.
Wow.
Here, I'll do a quick list just so you can hear it. It's astounding. But I was like, it took a long time. I should have used a spreadsheet, but I'm an idiot and just did this by hand. But NES, Amiga, PC. Now the PC, I considered the PC games in DOS. We had PlayStation 1, Apple II, C64, Mega Drive, PC Engine, the arcade, which I also included as the Neo Geo, Game Boy, the ZX Spectrum, the Dreamcast, Game Boy Advance, the CPC, PC Engine CD, the BBC Micro, 3DO, Intellivision, Super Nintendo, Atari ST, PlayStation 2, The Switch, Xbox One, and PS4, Master System, Saturn, original Xbox, Sega CD, CD32, and the Nintendo 64.
Wow.
That's crazy.
You believe that?
Crazy.
I've spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
So initially, when we were playing this, my goal was to get the system and the game that we would be playing. So for the longest time, I spent a lot of money doing this as well. And I have a lot of these games physically, but luckily I stopped before we got to the really expensive stuff.
Yeah.
I think some of them are just unobtainable now, aren't they? Unless you've got serious funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible, that, though. Thanks for that, mate. That.
Yeah.
28.
Jesus Christ, 28.
And
It's been fun. Most of these games we've been trying to play on real hardware, so it's been fun, a fun journey getting that old hardware and getting it to work and finding the game.
Yeah. Imagine how annoyed you'd be having dropped all that cash on an actual boxed version of Conker.
Yes.
It's going to smell like poo, the great the almighty poo. But I can't remember what his name was. Anyway,
Great and mighty poo.
Still, probably, of all the Game Club games, probably my favourite boss battle of all of them that we played over the years.
Definitely. The Great and Mighty Poo was such good fun. Just for the music.
Yeah.
The song. That was so good.
And throwing toilet rolls down his mouth. I mean, what other game
brilliant.
could you beat the boss by lobbing toilet rolls in his gob?
So what do you think, what's the oldest system that we covered? The earliest.
So we
Apple
never
II?
played any Atari 2600, did we? So
Did we not?
No, I don't think so. Did we?
Well, we looked at the Atari 50 stuff, didn't we? But that was the PS4 Switch one, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Mark mentioned. So
if that counts, then the 2600. Otherwise, probably the C64 and then the Specky from
the
from
Apple
82.
II was
Apple II.
1977.
Oh, we got the Apple II as well. True. We played. What did we play? Prince of Persia.
Soft
Porn
porn.
Adventures, was it?
Don't
played
Soft porn Adventures.
Don't start pretending you forgot about soft porn, Max.
Sorry, I was just
don't remember playing
thinking
soft
Prince
porn.
of Persia because I had such good fun trying to finally finish that game with the bloody time limit of 1 hour. So yeah.
That's it. Yep. Apple II.
You can't really have forgotten
1977.
Roberta in the hot tub, can you? Max?
Oh, never forget that. Never.
Images ingrained in my brain.
It's the best box cover artwork of all time. Yeah. Yeah, 1977, Apple II, the oldest. And the newest, what do you think?
Well, if you ignore, are we ignoring the Atari 50 stuff?
No, that was what it was. Yeah, I shouldn't have listed them out. I was like, damn it, that wasn't my question. But yeah, I was going to try and trick you and say we covered the Switch game.
Ignoring that then, because that was playing the Atari 50, wasn't it, over the...
Then it has to be the Xbox, right?
Yeah, Outrun 2 probably then.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be the Xbox. PlayStation 2 came out earlier, so yeah, I think the original.
What about
Xbox.
the GameCube? Did we play anything on the
PlayStation 2 was 99, I think. So.
Yeah, and Xbox came out in 01.
I don't think there was anything on the GameCube.
Yeah,
No,
we've never done a
I don't think
GameCube
so.
game.
GameCube is modern gaming, so.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? We start to play through to play modern and middle-aged games, and then immediately went with the borderline retro game as our first game.
Metroid,
Yes,
wasn't it Metroid
yeah.
Prime, right? Metroid
Metroid Prime, yeah.
Yeah.
Great game.
Crazy. Okay, let's see. Okay, here's a good one. What platform has been covered the most? When you think
I'd
about
say
that?
DOS PC. That would be my guess because we've actually been playing a lot of good PC games.
Yeah, I would say that or PS1.
Yeah, it could be as well.
I'm trying to think. There's been, 3 or 4 Amiga games?
Yeah, there hasn't been enough Amiga games for me, I think, and I think we can every now and again we realise that and say let's have an Amiga game, but
Yeah, a couple of specky games. Yeah, I'd probably say PC, yeah.
yeah, I think PC is so wide ranging.
Okay. Yep, that's right. PC, we've done 15 games for the DOS and PC. 15.
Okay.
It's quite a
Yeah.
bit. But when you think like we did Day of the Tentacle, we did
Dark Forces.
Dark Forces
Yeah, that was
1
a
and
good
2.
one. That, yeah,
Command and Conquer.
Command and Conquer, yep.
Did we play StarCraft recently as well, didn't we?
yeah.
Yeah, Incredible Machine.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
so
was the? Have you got? If you haven't got this, mate, don't worry. But what was the most frequent console?
Yeah, that's coming up.
Okay.
That's coming up. So how about this one? This will be fun. What platform have we covered more? The ZX Spectrum, the Sega CD, or the PlayStation 2?
This is probably going to be a bit. We probably should be saying ZX Spectrum, but I'm almost certain it's not.
Now we want to be nice to our listeners, Chris.
What, 2 or 3 Sega CD games?
Yeah, I'm going to say Sega CD.
I'll say PS2. I don't think it is, but I'll say PS2 just to be different.
Who do you think, man?
Yeah, I've got no idea.
PS2, Maximo?
Maximo, yeah.
It's the one that...
What else did we play on PS2 than Maximo? I forget.
I don't remember any other PS2 games.
I can't remember now.
Sega CD. I'm going to say
Sega CD, then.
Yeah.
It's a trick question. We've only covered 2 games on each platform.
Cheater.
2 games. I'm hoping Dean hears us and he's just screaming in his truck that we've only played 2 ZX Spectrum games.
And one of those ZX Spectrum games was a modern game.
Was a modern
game.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Welsh Hairy Bastard.
That's it.
What a great game WHB was.
It was so good.
That was
it
good.
was so good.
And Manic Miner month was one of the best months of this entire thing, I think.
Yeah, probably my absolute favourite month.
Yeah,
the whole thing. I mean, that was like,
Kingy join you on that one? And I mean, he was looping it like 7 or 8 times or something for.
I think loads of us were by the end of it.
Yeah, I looped it like little Jim when he was 10 years old. If you'd have told him that he'd have looped it in like 30 years' time, no way.
I mean, by the end of the month, I mean, I was playing it that I just had to turn it off because I would have never have died.
He's just teasing me because he knows I'm the only one here who didn't loop it. So.
You didn't loop it.
I didn't loop it either.
No, I only got to the 20th round. I never finished that, actually.
But no, you must have been the 19th because the 20th is just a gimme easy level.
Okay, 19th then. I only got to the last level. I remember.
That one with the platforms, the satellites falling down is the one of the killers, isn't it?
See, I got that down. No problem.
It was the lightning
laser
one. It was the lightning one that did me.
Yeah.
That was a tough one to get my head around.
It was still one of my favourite platform games of all time.
Yeah, great game. I played it just yesterday. Day before, Friday.
It's pretty cool that it holds up so well. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those games that when you and Dean were on that radio show, and he was saying how the host was kind of saying like you go back to old games and he didn't like it. I was glad Dean was like, I kind of see it the other way because it's a game like that. I mean, it's perfect, right? It's a perfect.
Yeah. It's game dependent stuff like that, isn't it? Some hold up, some don't. But you could say that for any media, movies, TV shows, anything.
Yeah. Some people don't like going back, though, and some people who loved games, even don't like going back a generation. I mean, I'm obviously now part of the Kane and Rinse group as well, and it's amazing how many of those guys who've been, absolute hardcore addicted gamers for 40 years. Once a new machine comes out, the old stuff is gone. And they'll play they'll play some classics on PS Plus, but really that's just to kind of tickle in the nostalgia bone. Yeah, it's like we only play the modern stuff, and it's funny, isn't it? It's we're all things, and I think it's something deep within our psyche. As I think it's in everyone that we kind of try to regress back to the things we enjoyed. There is part of there's something of that in I think all of us, but in this present company and our great community, it's just stronger.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. It is interesting because I think anybody and everybody could go play like the Tetris effect, right, and still have it feel like it's just playing Tetris with fancy visuals going on. And you're right. I think we're all just built a little bit different. But the retro community, because I love playing modern games. Well, I don't know. I don't play tons of those, but I've always loved playing what's coming out. But I always lean towards the stuff that's older. I don't know.
And the funny thing about playing Astrobot over the past couple of weeks, to my mind, that is a game designed with retro sensibilities, I think. I mean, that feels like playing that felt what it was like playing a 3D platformer in the 90s. Now, obviously, if you played them side by side, they're very different. I get that. But in terms of the feel it gave, I mean, I was smiling like a little kid playing that game, and it made me feel like a child again.
Yeah.
That play, that sense of play and fun. It did. I mean, that is, it's almost like the ultimate retro game in some ways.
Yeah, I suppose it is, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I suppose those enclosed levels, those like defined levels with the little collectibles that encourages you just to go off and try something. But you could just sit down and play it for 10 minutes, do one
and
level,
turn it off again.
And turn it off again. Yeah,
and just that silly sense of fun. When games didn't take themselves seriously, you didn't have Keanu Reeves showing up, and and it wasn't 50,000 people working on it. Although this is a lavish production, it's super polished, and probably did have a huge team working on it. The credits speak to that. But in terms of like the design philosophy, it just feels very small and enclosed, and it felt like playing in the 90s again.
Yeah.
But not because it looks amazing.
Yeah. Curse them for bringing out that new controller though. That Astrobot controller, and then bringing out a PlayStation 1 controller like a week later.
Yeah, they know what they're doing, mate.
Yeah, it's not their first rodeo, is it?
They should have spaced that out just a little bit, huh? Yeah. Start hurting the wallet so much. Last question, which is what you guys already alluded to. What console, not a computer / micro, has been covered the most? What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say PS1 there.
Yeah, PS1.
Yeah. Sounds about right. Or the NES. We played a lot of NES games, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
NES. I'll say NES then, just to be different.
No, it's PlayStation 1.
Okay.
6. It's showing 6 games. NES, I'm seeing 3, according to the list. Yeah, to the list.
Can we name the PlayStation games?
Well, they're right here. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Xenogears, Final Fantasy 7.
Silent Hill.
Tony Hawk at some point.
Tony Hawk, yeah. It was Crash Bandicoot was one, wasn't it?
Didn't play Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Team Racing.
Yes.
Crash Racing.
Yeah, that's true.
That was BC.
Yes, that was BC.
Yep. That's 5. Where's the 6th one? You did say Xenogears, yeah?
Clock Tower?
No, I don't think so.
Did we play Clock Tower like in the BC days with the Clock Tower?
No, we played. Maybe you're thinking about the Colonel's Bequest, or
maybe.
I know Clock Tower was a nearly game, wasn't it? Was it with the Silent Hill? No, Exile Month, I think.
Oh, it was on the list a couple of times.
Yeah, it must have been on the list. Yeah.
Give us a clue, Mark.
I'm looking. I'm trying to find it.
He doesn't have a clue.
Yeah, I think I've counted 5. So where the hell's the other one?
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill.
I got Silent Hill.
Xenogears, Final Fantasy 7.
Did I count wrong? Maybe I counted wrong. Maybe it's only 5.
I think it's only 5, mate.
Symphony of the Night, duh. That was the one that was one of my games.
Of course, yeah.
That was the most recent one. I just didn't scroll down far enough. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful game. God, Symphony of the Night was amazing. I liked it. Okay. So that was kind of just some like fun facts. Crazy to think we've done 28 systems. I've been through most of them. I kind of started I must have started right after you. So for me, I found the Retro Asylum 6 months or so before I joined in the game club. And the first game I joined in on was Devil's Crush. And so I'd listened to the 720 episode, the infamous 720 episode.
The infamous 720 episode, yes.
World record holder.
Which has been mentioned in some of these clips.
Get that on Twin Galaxies, Chris.
Yeah, so good. I can't believe how amazing you are at that game.
Come on over.
And that was your first episode, right, Chris?
Yeah, that was my first episode, and I still have the RSI from turning the joystick.
And so I listened to that, and when I don't remember if it was voted on or I think you guys, at that time you were kind of community voting, just a handful of people that were kind of playing along with the forums and that. You were like,
it was inspired by the death of Ben Dalglish, wasn't it? The composer.
Was it?
Yeah. That's what inspired
I don't remember that.
The choice of 720.
Oh, okay. I was thinking for Devil's Crush because I was like, I don't remember. I thought the inspiration was it was going to be October. It was kind of a fun theme.
Devil's Crush was I can't remember. It was just PC Engine or Halloween based, but 720. I remember specifically. It was all around the Ben Dalglish's passing.
Wow, crazy. But yeah, I specifically remember that because that was when I got Discord. I didn't even know what Discord was, so that was October of 2018. Wow. That's when I started listening. So we're pushing 6 years from that day.
Yeah, there was a spell. I think there was a jumping on point for a lot of people, wasn't it? Devil's Crush. I remember John V mentions it in his clip. We was all like a mini revival. We're all there crammed into this little like a little community center. It wasn't a big like revival. It was just like one of the scaled down ones, mini ones that they did, and there was a beaten up turbo graphics over in the corner, and a few people crowding around it, and then the Retro Asylum name came out and was, oh, you're such and such, you're such and such.
Because everybody's sitting there trying to play Devil's
Crush. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Just to give some context, context in the history of RA. So the 720 episode was my first episode and the first real kind of. Although I think you and Steve had done an episode on worms, hadn't you, Mads? I think just before that.
There's been episodes on Battletoads. The Colonel's Bequest, I'm sure we did an episode there as well.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, let's so the worms episode then was 182. So there may have been one before that, but the worms episode was 182. What's the latest? This episode will be what 400? What episode are we up to?
No, I didn't even bother looking. I didn't want to have Dean mad at me for saying it's.
So this will be 338. So the game club has spanned from 182 to 338. I mean, that is some going, isn't it? You think Retro Asylum's been going for 12, 13 years.
Wow.
It's not bad.
So we've got a whole bunch of clips. I think this is a good spot to finally, we'll just kind of start feeding the clips in here. Again, it was very kind of a lot of you. I called out a lot of people saying, hey, over the years, even if you haven't played for a while, let's get some clips in here because like I said, a lot of people that hadn't played or hadn't at least kind of commented. We had a lot of people on Discord kind of piping in. And so I think what we'll do is we're going to start, and I'm just going to kind of play these as through the episode and we'll kind of chat about them. But first one I got was from Derek. His Retro Denial is his name, and we'll listen to that now.
Hi everyone, it's Derek, aka Retro Denial. I started with playing Day of the Tentacle, and that's also been my favourite game throughout the club. Just a fun game with a great atmosphere the whole way through. And for those who haven't tried it over on the playthrough pod, Lucid Dreaming was a fairly similar game with just a really fun atmosphere the whole way through as well. The high score challenge, playing 1942, I seem to recall being good at that game once upon a time, but this was just proof of how old I'm getting. I really would have liked to have played Earthbound and Snatcher, but I will have to make the effort to play those games sometime anyway. But in general, I was just happy pretty much always happy with whatever was chosen because it was an opportunity to experience a game of a genre that I perhaps wouldn't have tried. I really enjoyed the listener clips. I think the episodes with listener clips are generally better than those without. Obviously, John V is a star there, and Reese and Morpin, and probably a few others I've forgotten have come with some great stuff. And Chris Atwill is coming with some good stuff as well lately. In general, the game club has been great. Been great to get to use all of these old consoles a bit more and play some games that we all think we should play but just often don't get around to playing. So, yep, keep up the good work. I look forward to being part of whatever's coming up. So yeah,
And that was Derek. Thanks for that. That was he. So he started with Day of the Tentacle, and he said that was by far his favorite. And he also kind of mentioned, I guess he goes over there and plays with you guys on playthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucy Dreaming. Yeah.
Yeah, he said it reminded him of
yeah.
Lucy Dreaming. And you guys that was just a few months ago you guys did that episode.
Earlier this year,
Yeah.
The point and clickers definitely lend themselves well to this format of playing as a group and giving each other clues and whatnot. I think it does work well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought we'd kind of let's just kind of roll down some of these games. We'll throw in some more clips on the way. And I didn't play any of these early ones before Devil's Crutch, which was number 10 on our list. So explain to me kind of, because I know Blake, he kind of talked about it a little bit, where you guys talked about it before the Discord. You guys had forums on the Retro Asylum. Is that still a thing? I don't even know.
No. We had these BB forums, that everybody used back in the day. But they were closed down when we started the Discord.
Got it. So how did these first games come about? Because the first game you list is listed as Battletoads, and why Battletoads? Is it because it was a rare game?
I think at about that time, people were already talking about reviving the Battletoad franchise. It did later on get a remake or something like that. So and it was a rare game. So I remember us hosts just talking about that. Be fun to. I wanted to restart the game club because the game club is actually, it's been on hiatus before because it started on the forums of the Retro Game Squad podcast, and I ran it there for a few years. And the guys on Retro Game Squad would then be discussing the game that we've been playing on the game club. And once I was even on one of the episodes talking about, what was that? That was PlayStation Klonoa, I think.
You were on a couple of times.
Yeah. So it went into hiatus for a year or two at least, and then I revived it here on Retro Asylum instead. And I think I remember one of the hosts, can't remember who, said that it'd be fun to subject the listeners to Battletoads because Battletoads is notoriously hard to play, especially that speeder level. I never got past the speeder level if I recall correctly. It was so hard. You did, Chris. Nice. Well done. So I think that was the idea, really. It's a UK game, a rare game, and one that people have fond memories of, but also just tough as nails. So it'd be fun.
It sounds like a Chris O'Regan thing to say.
Yeah, it could have been, but he wasn't on the show back then. So.
I'm sure he was. I remember, because I remember this being announced. I remember the episode on which, and I remember Chris O'Regan apologising to Leon Cox of Kane and Rinse, saying, "Don't worry, it's not going to be Kane and Rinse. It's going to be very different."
Okay. Yeah.
I think it was him who came.
Do you know? I think that he was on there at that point.
Yeah, I think he was still on RA.
Okay.
Yeah, because he left just after I joined, so I remember the message from him saying he was leaving, which I thought, doesn't like my smell.
No.
Your capacitors, mate. You could smell your capacitors.
Something fishy going on here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
No, but I believe early on we didn't want to do like a full-on episode on each game. We just wanted to mention the games that we've been playing on the episodes going forward. But I guess we did do one specifically for Worms, you say. But that's probably because Steve and I do remember we played that on Amiga Live and had a lot of fun. So we thought we'd do an episode on that.
Well, we played that together, didn't we, mate? It's the first time I met you. We had a game of that.
True. Yeah, and I think the third game, Colonel's Bequest, was actually your doing. You suggested that we play that, right?
Yeah. I still love that game. I'd love to kind of properly play that.
But you just can't remember. You need to listen to the episode because what we really found out was that it was really hard to play.
It's really. I remember us being eaten by a crocodile. Just randomly as you're walking alongside a river, this crocodile jumps out and eats you. It's like game over. Brilliant.
Yeah, those early games were good. I remember the challenges, the competition doing California games with the Haggy Sack. That was such good fun.
Yeah,
I didn't really get involved with that one. I've never really enjoyed California games.
Yeah, it's good, mate.
Yeah, I used to
like
play
California
that one.
games.
Yeah, even here that was pretty popular over here on the C64 and the NES.
Yeah, it was one of those games, wasn't it? It's pretty good again across most platforms. So my one that I played was the Master System.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the Lynx has got a good version.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were fun. Prince of Persia, Apple II. So you talked about that a little bit, Madge. You had to beat it in an hour.
Yeah, Prince of Persia. There is a time limit of 1 hour, and then it just starts over, and it gets quite hard later on. So yeah, it was such good fun trying to get through that. I actually didn't. I only tried to dabble with the Apple II version. I played the DOS version because that's the one I'm nostalgic for. So
yeah,
that's the one I played.
I've never. I mean, I've played it because I actually have a DOS copy, an actual box of it and everything. But it's so hard. That game to me it's so hard, but it is absolutely stunning the way that it looks and plays.
It's one of those games. It's a beautiful example of one of those classic games where if you just sit down and throw yourself at it for the first time, you're gonna die in 2 minutes. But just put in the hours because you can memorize the levels, you can memorize where the traps are, you can learn that sword fighting technique. That's probably the hardest thing to learn how to master that. And then after maybe doing that for a month or two, you'll finish it, right?
Yeah.
So and if you're pigs, then after an afternoon, you'll probably finish it. But for the rest of us mere mortals, it's going to take a while to learn it. So it's a simple little game, I guess, really, because it can probably be finished in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. But most of us will just have fun trying to pick at it for months. So it's a beautiful example of a classic game.
It's like Devil May Cry, mate. Devil May Cry, finish it in 6 hours.
Yeah, some can, some can't. I really didn't like that game.
Yeah, I remember. Yes. Yeah.
And of course, the Prince of Persia series still going strong today. I finished the most recent iteration of Prince of Persia that was released earlier this year, released in January. I played that on the Switch, and that is an absolute beauty of a game.
Yeah.
You should add the Prince of Persia games to your ever-growing list of games to play in the playthrough. Or
I think I've pretty much played all of them, to be honest, over the years.
Yeah,
but
I've never played the second one really. I remember the Prince of Persia 2 was released in like the 90s for the PC.
Was it Mega Drive as well? Did it get Mega Drive released?
Yeah, perhaps.
It sounds familiar. I think there was a Prince of Persia on the Mega
But I've
Drive.
never really played that a lot. Just a little bit on PC.
It would be a cool series to go through, actually, because it's been rebooted and reinvented so many times.
Oh, it has, yeah.
Sands of Time was great on the PlayStation 2.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember there was an Xbox version of that.
That PS2 trilogy, actually, all really good. Warrior Within, Sands of Time, and...
Yeah, I think I only played the first one. That was Sands of Time, right?
Yeah,
that was the first one, yeah.
They become a little bit more combat-focused, I think, after Sands of Time, but they're still really good.
Yeah.
Then you have the classic Iridium shooter on the C64. That sounds like a Steve game.
It was actually a Matt game.
Yeah.
Matt loves
Really?
Iridium. Yep. So it's a technical marvel, but for me, an unplayable game, sadly. So
Yeah, I've tried Iridium at 1 and 2, and they're so hard.
Yeah. You fire it up, play it, die, put it away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super fast scrolling though, beautiful. On
Yes.
that side.
Definitely a technical marvel. Yeah.
And then Streets of Rage for the Mega Drive. This is when you remember joining in, Jim.
Yeah. I think I don't remember sending in a clip or anything for this one.
There wasn't an episode on this, but I played this a lot with the group. Andy Gilmore was really good at it. Remember, he was really good at this.
It's a classic. He loves his I suppose the walk, right, and fight type games, doesn't he?
The Bell beat 'em ups.
Yeah. Great game. Love Streets of Rage. And,
the music is
stunning. And I get another one that came back, didn't it? It was Streets of Rage 4, and then Sega are currently working on a new one as well. So.
Yeah, I've still not played Streets of Rage 4. I really do need to.
Really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's great. Really, really, really good. Yeah, give that one a shot. You have it on the Switch, or do you have?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? You got Streets of Rage 4?
I think I've got it on this. I think I've got it on Steam. But that's where I seem to have a lot of those kinds of games. But I think I played it once for 20 minutes, and then maybe I played it on Game Pass. Anyway, I've definitely played it. I played through the first level. I did really enjoy it, and I'm not a massive fan of that kind of game.
No.
But I would like to play that because I love the music and I love the vibe. And I
used to
did
love
really
those
like
games. I used to love those games in the arcades back in the day, playing with a mate. But I really can't get into them anymore. I mean, sitting here alone in front of a computer, there's so much.
They're
I'd
not
like
the
to play
same.
that's not that. So
Yeah. I think that's one of the good things about the Streets of Rage 4, and then it sparked this like mini revival almost of the genre. Sort of, they were still coming out, but they were now they're very much more mainstream, and they've got these online capabilities. Like the new Turtles game can be played online co-op. There's a Toxic
the co-op
Crusaders
part
one.
is what makes these games fun.
Yeah,
for me.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Let's go do another clip. Because like I said, we got a pile of these to go through. So let's go with the WHB of our listeners, Mr. Reese, King Kong Groover, and let's hear what he has to say.
Hello, everybody. This is Reese, aka King Kong Groover, with a eulogy to something that I have been informed is not dead. It's been a couple of months since the Game Club had taken its Super Skid Marks soiled self out of the RA podcast library and is on a hiatus. And I was asked, as somebody who played a few games in the Game Club, to give my thoughts. It was through the Game Club that I discovered the Retro Asylum podcast. I was looking for podcasts to listen to. I wanted to get back into retro gaming and, get back into it as a hobby. And I'd always listened to podcasts and discovered RA through a Guardian article. And the first episode I listened to was the Donkey Kong episode for the Game Boy. It was a Game Club episode. And I was like, I really like this. Let's see if I can become a part of it and play along. The first game I played through was Final Fantasy VII, which was great because it always was one of my favourite games of all time, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'd never actually completed it, so this gives me a good a good reason to complete it. So that was a great time, and I really enjoyed it. On to the Game Club allowed me to discover some games that I loved. Never really being, outside of Final Fantasy, a JRPG fan, but Shining Force was great, and Ease in particular in the RPG months I really, really enjoyed. I also had, fun with Tex Murphy Under a Killing Moon, Advance Wars, which I did actually hear about, but I never actually had the time to play, and this gave me a reason to play. What was the other one I wanted to say? The Day of the Tentacle, which has become one of my favourite games of all time. Also games like WHB, which, for those of you who look in the feed, has me on the cover of the podcast episode. I was asked by, I'll tell the story now. This is a bit of rambly. I was asked by Mads to, he was doing the cover and he wanted a photo of me looking particularly Welsh. So at about -3 degrees, it was quite cold. I think it was like in November. It's maybe not -3, probably about +3. But yeah, it was a very, very cold, clear day in Llandudno, and I asked my mum if she would take a photo of me looking Welsh. So I had to take a Welsh rugby shirt and a Welsh flag to visit my mum for the weekend to take that photo. I did get some funny looks because I didn't wear the Welsh shirt, so I kind of had to strip and it wasn't topless, but yeah, it was very, very cold, or cold to me. That was for the WHB episode because WHB apparently stands for Welsh Hairy B-word. which is that, and I did get funny looks, especially from my now soon to be sister-in-law and brother, who arrived halfway through the somewhat of a photo shoot and was questioning my sanity, but that's a little story for you. Anyway, the main highlight though for me was the in early 2020, and I think Ikaruga was the game when the world went into lockdown for a period of time. The game club was one of the things that kind of kept me going as something to do with a good bunch of people. I particularly remember the month that was the Strider month, where because nobody had anything to do, certain people got really, really good on the arcade version of Strider. I think there were some definitely 1 credit clears. I think also some people set high scores that would, be some of the best ever scores of that game. So yeah, it was in a really, really difficult time. The game club and all its participants, because the game club's nothing without it, certainly kept me going. So for that, I am eternally grateful. Okay, I've rambled on far too long. I was apparently going to keep this for 3 to 5 minutes, but we're over 5. So thank you, Game Club. Thank you, RA. Look forward to seeing what's next. And I will certainly participate if and when I can, as the world is getting back to normal. And do take care. Bye.
That was Reese, the WHB, the Welsh hairy bastard. Oh no, I'm gonna have to bleep. Am I gonna have to bleep that? Is bastard a swear word in Britain? I don't know.
It'll be okay.
I love Reese. He waxes lyrical about WHB and how the story of how Mads wanted a picture of him looking super Welsh for the cover of our episode, and I love that. I've always loved how Mads has always tried to get involved, get the listeners involved. It's why me and Jim are here, right? I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
And so
and Chris, really, because he contacted me when he was a listener.
That's true. Yeah. Half of
Just
Retro
the
Asylum's here because of
I've
you,
just
Mads.
found the high score table on Discord for Streets of Rage, by the way. It's still there.
Oh, wow. Love it.
Yeah, it was posted on the 22nd of September 2018.
Wow.
Discord is brilliant for that kind of thing. You can go right back.
That's awesome. Yeah, archive.
Andy Gilmore was top for all 3 games.
Blimey.
That's our Andy.
Probably playing it on easy.
Probably.
That's like the best nickname, Easy Andy. I love that. So we move into 720, the infamous 720. This is when you bring Chris in, and
if I remember correctly, Chris, you contacted me at some point saying, actually not asking to join the podcast, but asking for advice because you wanted to start a podcast.
I think that's
true?
right. Yeah, I mean, I've been listening for a while at that point, a long time. And I always, I want to focus in my gaming. That's why I wanted to get involved in, or even just start one myself, because I thought I was starting to acquire all these systems again. And the age-old problem of, well, if you've got all these things in front of you, what the hell do you play? Because, there's an infinite amount of games and there's, not a lot of time. And I used to listen to your episodes and think, oh, that'd be so cool because, you've basically got a mandate. You've got a reason to play these games. And that's why I wanted to. So I got in touch with Dean and said, look, I'd like to get involved. I've been listening for a while. And he was like, well, it's not really, we haven't really got, there's not really kind of any openings or anything. And then a couple of hosts, one host left. Let's not mention his name. And when he left, I thought, well, maybe then there's a place. So I think that I emailed Dean again and said, look, what do you think? I'm not going away here. So you either let me on or I'm going to terrorize you. And that's when I think maybe he spoke to you, mate, and Mads, and said, "Oh, maybe Chris could come in and help with the game club." And that was my brief, to come in and really, kind of get some momentum behind it. And there we are, 6 years later. But it was great. I was so nervous on that 720 episode. It's you guys know what it's like. For us for the old farts on the podcast. You think, well, why would you ever be nervous? But it's a big deal.
It is
when you've been a fan and a listener for so long, actually going and getting in front of a mic, and it is a big deal, isn't it? It's.
Well, that's what I was always worried about. Is I don't want to ruin my favorite podcast coming out. So, you don't want to ruin it.
And yet you picked all those Xbox games.
And I ruined it. I've completely ruined it. Yeah.
Between Xbox and Sonic, that was the end of that.
No, I'm not having that. I'm not. Don't drag the hedgehog through the mud.
We'll start calling him Shadow.
But this is. I feel like this is this is kind of where some of the listeners talk about that were listening a little before my time. Like I said, I started listening in that April that year. It's like I said, it's a specific. I've already gone over it, but it was when my daughter was born. And that's when I found Retro Asylum, and it was in April specifically. So March or October rolls around, and I hear the 720 episode. I think you must have mentioned that we were playing Devil's Crush, and it was instantly where that was kind of where I jumped in, and it sounds like a ton of us jumped in at the same time. And I think that maybe that was that pivot point, that you had a dedicated episode.
Yeah.
The handful of us that were listening were like, oh, this game sounds really cool. Pinball. And I had a PC Engine at the time. And so, I was ready to rock and roll. And I had Devil's Crush too. I think I had a Hue card at the time. So I plugged it in and just started playing along, and just got completely sucked in. And there at that time, it felt like there was a ton of people. Do you still have your high score table up there, Chris?
For Devil's Crush?
Yeah. How many people posted?
I'm just scrolling through trying to find it. There's a lot of messages on 720. Was Devil's Crush before Midwinter?
Yes, just before Midwinter. Yeah, it was the game before Midwinter.
It's probably under a pinned post, no?
No, the pins, we've taken some of those other pins off because you can only have so many pin posts.
Yeah.
That's the game, isn't it, where I think a lot of people joined in. I think 720, we'd obviously had some of the early episodes of the Worms, and it was also the game that spawned the word emulatable.
I don't remember that. Yeah. What I love.
It's funny with the games we've been playing, because we kind of consciously flip-flop between easy pickup and play high score challenges, and then more cerebral stuff. So looking at that list after Devil's Crush, where everybody could pick that up and play and submit a score, we went into Midwinter, which is definitely a game where you need to read not only the manual, but for it to make sense, the little novel that's in the manual as well. Remember that, Chris?
Yeah, the little novella.
So you really needed to put some time into that, and it was a slow-paced game. Something completely different. So we've been going back and forth between game styles, and I love that. We've covered pretty much everything, haven't we?
I think we tried to keep that going right the way through. I think when King Trilo started, his excellent high score challenge channel, I think then we kind of left that stuff. And to be honest, maybe that didn't help with some of the fatigue setting in, because we then kind of left the high score stuff to King Trilo and focused more on the cerebral stuff. But that wears a little bit month after month.
True. Yeah, maybe the high score stuff kind of gives you that palate cleanser, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have found the high score table on. It was won by Played in Japan UK, the challenge. He had 87 million, but looking down the list, there's a certain Wise Mids here. Mads is there. Are you there, Kids? Yeah, Kids is 5th place, Mark.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
Well done.
Second place, I got 79 million. I was all right at that game.
Nice. I'd like to play that again now with my sort of little current spinny monitor setup. That'd be good fun to
Mads, your daughter's there. Nadja's there. She got more than Jim.
Really?
And she must have been about 5.
yeah. Must have been really young at that point.
That's great.
I must have just not submitted my high scores.
That was November 2018.
So you guys, did any of you guys, apart from Chris and I, of course, play Midwinter then?
So I did briefly. I had a modded Amiga, and so I remember voting specifically for this game. And again, for me, I was like, Amiga game. This is what I wanted, because I don't know what I had an Amiga, but I didn't really know much about it. So, I remember going, this sucks. And so I bounced off it pretty quick. But I mean, I still was there for the banter and just, I kind of was there. Enjoying
Midwinter
that.
was definitely an acquired taste, but it's such a beautiful game as well. So.
It's not the
It
sort
wasn't
of
the
game
easiest game to get into.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. It's not the sort of game I'd normally play, but I did get me looking at Amiga emulation and trying to like do that legit. So like trying to download the proper Kickstart ROMs and paying for those and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Well, that's what I loved about going back real quick to Devil's Crush. How many PC engines did people buy? There was like 4 or 5, as I recall, people that bought PC engines during that month or right before. It was great. It was funny how it inspired so many people to buy so much things. And a matter of fact, there's some, we probably ought to get into some more listener clips, because there are some that talk about that. We'll jump ahead because of that. Let's go with Chris Atwill and hear what Chris has to say.
Hi everybody, it's Chris Atwill. Just wanted to share my brief thoughts on the end of the game club. In the current form anyway. So I've been involved since playing Zookeeper with you guys and sharing some of the high score stuff. I know that's moved into its own category now, which King Trio runs expertly with an iron fist. But I've enjoyed playing all these games with you guys. I've collected a lot of the physical versions of them, added to the gigantic pile of plastic in my spare room. And yeah, it's been fun. I can understand why it's been put on pause for the time being. But if you decide to bring it back, I'll be there. But it's been some good memories, and so thank you very much, guys. And looking forward to listening to more. Thanks.
That was Chris. Thanks for that, Chris. Speaking of buying a bunch of plastic, he mentions that. We have not helped his wallet by collecting a bunch of plastic.
We're all money poorer than we used to be, but experience richer.
Yes.
The last 6 years.
Yeah.
I think I started my collection around 720, so I've got that on tape. I got Devil's Crush on Hue card. I've got the boxed Midwinter, Incredible Machine, Supercars 2,
Donkey
Popeye. I of course I didn't get the arcade board, but I bought the Famicom card. I remember, because I wanted some version of Popeye.
Yeah.
I've got Donkey Kong for the Game Boy, fully boxed.
Yep. I'm guessing you didn't get the Donpachi.
The Donpachi, I think I picked up the PS2 version. Or
no.
Did you?
Oh, nice.
That was the one I...
Wait a second.
Isn't that the one I sent you? Wait, I sent you something for the Saturn. Wasn't it that one?
Was that Donpachi? I forget, mate. Which one?
It did come to the Saturn.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. I had a copy of that, so I sent that.
Yeah, that's true. That's so nice.
Because I remember you were collecting them, and you're like, oh my god, I'm never going to be able to get these games that I had Donpachi. I didn't need it. So
yeah. And I've played that actually. It's true. I have the Saturn version. I played that with the Saturn arcade stick quite a lot back then.
Yeah,
I got Dark Forces on the PC, and Command and Conquer, and Final Fantasy, Stunt Car Racer, Metal Slug. I picked up for the PS2. That was a PS2 one. Manic Mine I have on a tape here, and then I stopped because stuff like Bonk's Revenge and Loom was just so crazy expensive.
Loom,
so when we got down there, I stopped the collection.
so you went for a good 12, 20. Yeah, you probably went for 2 years.
Maybe more.
A year, 2 years. So just a couple real quick. Incredible Machine. That's about what I can consider the only one that I won. I consider it my only win. So
I remember did you send us a video of your? I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was against me and John V. And I can't remember. I want to say maybe Blake sent a video, and it came down to me and John V. And let's listen to John V's clip, because you guys already know he's my favorite, and he mentions how humble it was to lose to someone like me. Just briefly. So let's.
I'm sure he says that.
Let's hear John.
Hi there, it's John V from the Discord group. And for the past 6 years, I've been playing whatever the game club told me to play. So, I followed along with some of the early games, but it wasn't until Devil's Crush on the PC Engine that I actually really engaged with the game club, submitting high scores, commenting on Discord, and recording a clip. I feel that Devil's Crush really got a load more of us involved in Game Club. At a Revival mini meetup, I got a chance to meet some of the fellow Game Clubbers, as we found a rather broken PC Engine in the corner running Devil's Crush and tried to compete with some high scores. So, Devil's Crush started a great initial run of games that really appealed to me. Midwinter, The Incredible Machine, although I'm still bitter that Mark's solution was better than mine in the competition. Supercars 2, where we got to compete in an online tournament. Popeye, where we competed for a high score, and I adopted my default position of a battle for a place just inside the top 10. Okay, so I won't recap every single game, but a few highlights from me. Finally playing through Final Fantasy VII, getting all the characters. Joining in on the RPG months was one of the highlight of the years. Completing Xenogears, and after much pestering from me, finally playing Planescape Torment. Going back to Exile after all these years, but still not completing it. Playing Command & Conquer online against Mads, and sending an engineer into his base to destroy it so he couldn't build any more units. The classic point-and-click adventures that I played or enjoyed for the first time. Loom, Day of the Tentacle, Blade Runner. Outside of the RA community, it was fun to turn up at a local retro event and beat everyone at Stunt Car Racer, just because I've been practicing for the entire month beforehand on Game Club. Guest appearances from Dean, Steve, and even Matt were welcome additions to the Game Club, even though they often failed to play the game or submit a score before recording the main episode. So, not many podcasts run for as long as Game Club ran, month in, month out. Something Mads and Chris should be congratulated on, but over time interest waned, and I found myself playing less and less of the games. What do we have left now? The in-jokes, perhaps? We'll still be reminding Chris that he cheated using multiple credits on 720 when we're sat in our retirement homes. But aside from the jokes, what we have left now is a great community of fellow gamers to compete at high score challenges, meet up at Arcade Club, do online quizzes, talk about retro muses, and install radiators together. So thanks again to Mads, Chris, and Mark. Looking forward to the other episodes you'll now get a chance to record.
That was John. I love John. He goes on and on. He's he's so
Goes
witty.
on and on in a good way, John.
He just goes on and on and on. And I love. He talked about, like, we've got together and done like quizzes online as a group. Blake has put those together. That was the first time I met, when I saw John's face, and I think he was pretty hairy during the COVID days, but I was so excited when I finally met John. His clips have been the best from the beginning. Not to slide everybody else's clips, but John's I've always was happy to hear John's.
He's got a style, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's so British. I don't know how else to describe it. He's just got that dry British sense of humor, which us Yanks either love or hate. So. It cracks me up.
Do you remember when he first started posting clips? Wasn't it like on a homemade radio or something?
Yeah, I think it was.
Do you
Yeah,
remember? You used to have like. I remember you used to talk about this homemade. I imagine like this repurposed Tommy toy, plastic. His voice was so fuzzy. Remember?
I just got this image of him like ET now, like conjuring up some sort of like the little like type to speak sort of recording thing.
Yeah. And if anyone's ever met John, they'll know he has got like that mad scientist vibe about him as well. You can imagine him tinkering away.
Yeah.
He is a toppest of top blokes.
Yeah, so he's great. I was happy that that I beat him in one thing, and that makes me happy. So I think out of all the game club games, that Incredible Machine, I remember just falling in love with that. It was nothing like I'd ever played, and so that again, these early games for me were really special. I would say, because I just sucked right in. Supercars 2 right behind that. I mean, man, everybody joined in. Wasn't it Blake that set up a full-on... we had like a... what do you call it? Like
we had a competition on Amiga Live, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I remember being on holiday. I was in Centre Parks, and I had to take my laptop and my mic and everything to play to play one of my tournament games while I was on holiday.
Such good fun. But the score challenge on Supercars 2 was so good as well. People got so good that, I mean, one mistake in level 7 would mean that you need to restart. I was one of those who got a really high score in the end. It was such good fun trying to master those levels.
And I think King Trilo might burn down the server unless we mention the fact that he was right up there on the score.
He won, and wasn't that the first time we had a prize? We had prizes a few times as well. So I sent him like this handheld racing game, I think.
Wasn't it the Bitmap books, the Gremlin?
Oh, was it on this one? True, that's it. It was the Gremlin, a Gremlin in the works.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He was good. I remember I lost to Steve. I remember talking to Steve when I played him. And I still blame my 300.
You probably had the cheat on, mate.
Dude, he kicked my ass so hard. Gosh, I'm gonna have to bleep these two. But yeah, he kicked it hard, and I was just joking with him. I'm like, well, I'm in the States, and I'm getting like 185 ping on Amiga Live for crying out loud.
And of course, I'm going to lose.
That's great. I don't think he made me stay up till 4 a.m, but yeah, that was really fun. So, gosh, let's see. Popeye. Everybody play Popeye.
Yeah, I love this one.
It's a wonderful arcade game.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Donkey Kong Game Boy. This is one where I remember this is when Jim was streaming it, and I was out in the garden mowing the lawn and doing yard work that day. And I remember Jim was streaming, and I jumped in his stream and was watching him play.
That's a great game, isn't it? Donkey Kong. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, I remember I went and bought that game from the game store that we do the conventions with. My friend Tracy. That was right when he opened his store. So I remember I got a complete copy from him.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Dodon Patchy. God, what a beautiful game that was. And you guys were so good. Did you get to like level 5, Chris?
I think Mads probably
I got to about level 7.
Yeah, I could get to about level 4. I think Steve joined us for this one though, wasn't it? It was the first one that one of the
other hosts,
one of the A team actually.
True. That was such good fun. So frantic. I still remember playing that game. I wish I had my Apple Watch with that could monitor my pulse, for example, while playing that, because that was so hectic. It was such good fun trying to learn those patterns and get through those boss fights. I love that.
Yeah, that was good. Dark Forces on the PC, again, jumped in. I remember buying this. I had bought a sealed copy on eBay for like $20, and it was smashed, but I was going to rip it open anyway. I don't think I beat it. I think I got stuck somewhere, but I got really.
No, I didn't finish Dark Forces. I got a good chunk in, but finish it.
It was hard.
You need to finish Dark Forces, mate. It's a wonderful game, beautiful game,
and its sequel. They're both absolutely brilliant.
Jedi Knight is really
and well worth your time even now.
Command & Conquer. I didn't jump in, as you guys know. These strategy games are tough. John V talks about.
That was good fun. We had some battles online as well. Loved that.
John V
John
did
V
mention
mentions it in his clip.
in his clip
Yeah.
that he sent an engineer in to wipe out something of yours, Mads, or something.
Yeah, he
you
did.
can send
He
an
did.
engineer in to take out your game.
That's good stuff. Final
Pretty dick
Fantasy
move.
VII. I remember starting this one, and I fell off of this one too because I just, me and role playing games.
It's a short one as well. Right?
It is, yeah. No,
Relatively.
6 hours.
Seriously, it's
6
so long.
hours.
45 hours it'll take you to
Oh
get
my
through.
God.
But for an RPG, that's reasonably short.
Oh man, you can't say 45 hours and short in the same sentence.
Relatively short. But what a privilege to play this again as part of
that
a
was
group.
good.
I mean, it was if not my favourite game of all time, 'cause it probably isn't my favourite game of all time, but certainly the one that had the biggest impact on my whole life and still does to this day. To play it as part of a group, I actually found it, people don't like it when I say this, but I actually found it quite an emotional experience, playing it again as part of a group. It means so much to me, that game. And also made me realise that as a game itself, it's far from perfect.
Yeah.
But playing it is, that is my happy place. It's like Monkey Island. It is so
it's
formative.
one of those that holds up. I mean, I had no nostalgia for it whatsoever. Never played it before. And I loved
same.
it. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what my attention span's like with RPGs. I just, but I got through. I got through Final Fantasy, and I loved playing it. I was on holiday for a chunk of it as well, and I just remember that holiday just playing through it on the Switch. Yeah, awesome.
And it's not a difficult game. Again, relatively, some people will find that the duration of it difficult, but in terms of RPGs, it is a game that you can easily, with very little grinding, find yourself quite overpowered when it comes to that final boss.
Is that the one I ended up playing with my console on the head because it didn't want to read my discs in the end, even though I had a legitimate copy?
Flip it on
Oh,
and
that
stuff.
good old PS1.
Yeah. That was a trick that we always had to do. Yeah. Stunt car racer, again, so many people jumped in on this one, and this is where Matt jumped in, right? Was it?
Yeah,
Matt's?
that's his game, definitely.
Yeah.
That's a hard game.
The next one was good.
Metal Slug.
I mean, the competition we had there, of course,
Fierce.
Andy won in the end, but
Jamie Jazz.
and myself, we were right at top.
Yeah.
It was such good fun trying to.
you're good
I
at this
spent so
game.
much time trying to beat Andy's score there because it was once more one
Impossible.
of those games where you memorize those first 3-4 levels, so you've got it down to a T. But making one mistake is just gonna throw the whole thing.
Andy's got quite an addictive personality, I think, hasn't he? He won't mind me saying that, but like when a game grabs him, like with Dark Souls, he becomes completely obsessed by it. Yeah, it was good fun.
This was great. I have a MVS cabinet, and so I was playing this right on my, and I had so much fun. I remember my goal, because I mean people started getting so good at it really quick. I just wanted to hit that 1,000,000 point mark, which I remember being really, really tough. So, and I got it. Yeah. I remember hitting it, and I was so happy.
The music still lives in my head.
Yeah, and that zombie level, that still gives me nightmares. What was it, like level 3 or level 4 or something, when the zombies come at you?
Start spitting stuff at you. It's so hard.
I love when you're out in the ship on, I think on the second level, you're eating all the fish, and you get
it gets fat,
and chubby. It's so funny.
Yeah. Another franchise that's had a release this year, isn't it? In some way, shape, or form. Didn't it got a tactics game? Didn't it?
It did. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think it's brilliant, but it's still going.
Yeah, I need to check that. Manic Miner, another classic. It's, like I said, you had Kingy come on from RGDS, and
he wasn't on the episode, mate. He was on Discord.
It was just Discord he was playing? I thought he jumped on the episode with
No, Dean was on the episode with us, and he never featured on the Game Club again. I think he maybe didn't like the longer form discussion.
He was bored.
He may well have said it was the most boring 90 minutes of his life.
Was it because it was on the Spectrum, or was it just talking to you guys?
No, he didn't like us going through each level.
Oh, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Now, this next game, oh my gosh, Bonk's Revenge. This is the other one that I almost won the high score on. Not that I was point harvesting, I was doing everything, and freaking Donnie kept beating me, and me and him on that, because it would take me 2.5 hours to go and get all the way to the end, and all of a sudden he would beat me by 20,000 or whatever it was. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And then I posted a win, and then he was like, come on. So this one I very, very vividly remember, and he finally beat me in the end. But Bonk's Revenge
it was great. Bonk's Revenge. We played that.
Brilliant. Really, really good.
We played that over Christmas, I think. Maybe would have been 2020, maybe.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Would have been
it was
beginning
great.
of 2020, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I remember playing it. I remember playing it on Christmas Day, sneaking away for half an hour and playing some Bonk.
Yeah,
it's great.
Perfect game. Love that game to death.
Yeah, I'm always happy on a 2D platformer. Always.
Yeah. You know what? I know. I think it was. Let's go ahead and listen to. I want to say it was Muppets. Muppets, I think, this is the game that he kind of jumped in on. So let's go ahead and listen to Hans, Muppets 4.
Hi, Hans, aka Muppets 4 here. My introduction with the podcast was through the Game Club. I think I randomly searched for the word retro in my podcast app and fell for UK's #1 podcast, expecting that also the 8-bit home computers were involved. And I did not get disappointed at all. I quickly became my personal #1 podcast too. Looking back, I think Bonk's Revenge was the first game I played along with the Game Club. This felt like a true revelation. Not only playing a game on a platform I hardly knew existed, but also being able to discuss it with like-minded people on the Discord. Something I can never do with my real-life friends. I can see it in their eyes when I try it. And to top it off, hearing the host discussing the game in detail afterwards with a lot of recognition and insights. Due to time restraints, I couldn't play along with every game, but I have fond memories with Silent Hill, Thruxton, Maximo, RC Pro AM and Jedi Knight, for example. There were also games I would never play without the Game Club, and games I will never play again. I'm talking about Exile. So I will be missing the Game Club dearly. It gave me focus, but as they always say, when a door closes, another door opens. So I'm very curious what the future will bring us.
And that was Muppets. Muppets 4. That was Hans. Thanks for that, Hans. Bonk's Revenge is where he started, and I thought, we might as well listen to his go. And he found Retro Asylum by just searching in retro, like in Google.
Yeah.
And it popped up Retro Asylum, and he said, oh, these guys listen, or they cover 8-bit machines. And he said he'd never looked back. So Retro Asylum is his favorite podcast. And
that's how I found the podcast, though.
Really?
A Google search.
Well, yeah. I guess I did too. Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, I think I found it I was looking for like a Christmas episode in like a podcast client like Spotify or something.
Yeah.
A retro gaming podcast, like Christmas episode, and already popped up. Yeah.
Yeah.
He hated the game Exile. I don't remember his hate for that. But.
Did anyone other than John V like the game Exile?
No. So Loom, I know you guys loved Loom. I remember buying a copy on eBay for this because again I had my old Windows 95 machine or something, and I couldn't get into Loom like I did like Day of the Tentacle.
So Loom is a special one. It's one of my favorite point and clickers, mostly probably because I like the narrative. I like the story. I'm so sad that they only told the first third of the story, which should have been the first of a trilogy. But it's a special one because it has that musical interface, and playing it on expert mode where you have to actually learn the little melodies to cast the spells. It's such good fun. I love that game. And we actually reached out to Brian Moriarty on this one. Remember that, Chris?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And he was. We asked him to come on, didn't we? And
yeah, we did. And he would like to, but he had some health problems at the time, so he couldn't. Sadly, but yeah.
I hope he's well.
Yeah, me too. But great game.
Yeah, but he had the courtesy to respond really quickly as well.
Yeah,
just from some random email. What a guy.
Yeah.
That's really nice that he did that. Let's keep going down. What do we got? What else?
Ikaruga was the next one.
Ikaruga.
Yeah.
Ikaruga. What a beautiful game, but what a hard.
It's no Dodonpachi though, is it?
No,
it's not. It's not.
Too complicated for its own good. And it's God, what's its predecessor on the Saturn called? Help me out here, guys.
I have a copy of it, and I can't think of it.
You know the one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Radiant Silvergun.
Radiant Silvergun.
That's another one that's too complicated for its own good. Just let me shoot stuff and dodge things shooting at me, and that's good enough, isn't it?
Yeah, the whole color change thing was actually far too complicated for me.
Yeah, I'm way too simple a creature for all of that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. But what a fun game.
It's a stunning game, though.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we need to do some more Dreamcast love. Jim, we might need
definitely.
to do. Let's do some Dreamcast love in the future. We need to set something up. I'd love to do something.
Mate, 100%.
Advance Wars.
No hedgehogs either.
Yeah, we can do without the blue, I guess. Advance Wars, Game Boy Advance. So many people talked about this one. This was a huge game in the game club, as I recall. Again, way out of my league. You way too smart for me.
Yeah, it's not that difficult though, mate. It's
quite a simple game.
Strategy by the numbers, but it's super addictive.
Yeah. And I remember people playing this on like mobile phones, like Dave Strikes Free. He was played it through on his mobile phone.
Well, emulating the GBA on his phone.
Yes,
the beauty of the handheld. I think what kind of got everyone with this is that it was portable. So you could basically, it's the perfect Lou game, isn't it? Really, because you can just save anytime you want. And
I guess it was kind of almost the first portable game at this point. When I'm kind of looking up
Game Boy, Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
I
Donkey Kong 94.
That's true.
Yeah, I remember buying a flash card for my Game Boy Advance to be able to play this.
Yeah,
so.
me too. Yeah,
it's a great game.
One of those cheap ones. That's cool. Strider Arcade again. Like so many people jumped in and played. To me, I feel like this was kind of the golden age. These kind of 20
when it was established,
2021.
COVID. Yeah, through COVID, I think a lot of people had more time on their hands because they were at home, and a lot of people were playing. This is the time when we were getting the high scores 30, 40 when we were having high score competitions on the leaderboard. And
My favorite cover of Retro Asylum Akari Warriors for the Amstrad CPC.
Probably the cover of the Dean has made that it has been printed and hung up on most walls, I think.
I still get model agencies write to me saying, "Oh, we've seen that cover. Would you like to come on the cover of Hunks Weekly?" But of course,
I need to know whose idea that was.
I don't remember.
No, I don't remember either.
Not mine.
Possibly Dean's, probably, because he's the creative guy when it comes to those covers. So he probably said, you need to recreate those stances and I'll do something funny with it.
We got well paid for that.
Oh, yeah.
You did. Yeah. That's where that hefty Patreon money has to cover some of those.
And in no way photoshopped either.
No.
Oh, no.
I loved playing that game, though. Yeah, I really did. I loved spending a month with the CPC and
and we even looped Ikari Warriors because it in the end it wasn't that hard once you sat down with it for a while, right?
No. Well, if I could do it, it wasn't that difficult. And I even had to look at the sequels. So that's in typical home computer poor fashions, got some really random sequels. And there's one of them on like a space station, which is very weird, but it's just like a reskin.
Yeah, it's awesome. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I don't remember playing this one. I don't remember why.
Oh God, I do.
Yeah, me too.
Christ.
Trying to check off all of those little missions and pick up all of the letters and
There's a place where everybody's happy.
A great game.
Great
soundtrack. Yeah.
What a game. But yeah, I was pretty bad at it, but Jesus Christ, was I persistent that month. I put hours into that game.
Yeah.
I remember actually right after the PlayStation Mini had been released, because I seem to remember playing it at the cottage on this PlayStation Mini.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, nice.
Could have been. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I remember Tony Hawk's 3 was like just the peak of that series for me. I remember like ploughing hours and hours and hours into that game, learning the routes through the levels back in the day. Yeah.
So I actually bought the PS5 remake of Tony Hawk's 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And it's sat here on my shelf, and I don't think I've ever booted it up.
It's meant to be good. Yeah. It's a series I would like to revisit, actually, because I'd never played the Tony Hawk's game before.
Oh, mate,
or
we
since.
we should do that. Get Tony Hawk's 3 on the go.
Yeah, PS2, that one, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. A Dreamcast as well.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was,
What a great game.
Ease booked 1 and 2. This is, I think, the very first time you guys did 2 months for an RPG.
No, we did 2 months for Final Fantasy VII as well.
Oh, that's right.
2 months of running around bumping into stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't cope with this.
Again, what a soundtrack, Yuzo Koshiro.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this game so much. I played it twice. So I played through 1 and 2 on the PC Engine, and then I played the PSP remake as well.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it.
Incredible. I still haven't played another East game, despite investing a lot of money for a SD solution for my PC Engine. So I desperately need to get on and play 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I played, I think it was East 8 or East 9 on the PS Vita, and it was really good. And then I went and played this, where you, like you say, Rad, you're just running around bumping into stuff. I was like, what is this rubbish?
Let's see. We went to Silent Hill. Must have been another Halloween-ish time. Yeah, which would have been right after that. So
yeah, great game.
Silent Hill.
Yeah, seriously spooky game, actually, on the PS1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spoiled by some pretty dire boss battles, in my opinion, but I think they remedy that in 2.
Yeah.
Truxton, another shooter. One of the great shooters on the Mega Drive.
Yeah, fantastic.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I had an extra copy. I think I had an extra Japanese copy I remember I gave to the winner. And it was, I can't remember who it was. Somebody over there in the UK. That was fun. Exile, BBC Micro, everybody's favorite.
Jeez, those damn birds. Those damn birds.
Very colourful, though.
Sorry, John, we're not gonna wax lyrical, but this was a month where we did sequels. I think we were trying to find sequels or something. So Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2. We didn't.
Yeah,
have
we
enough.
we didn't do many sequels to games we'd already. In fact, this might be the only one where we played a sequel to a game we'd played previously.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic.
Under a Killing Moon. Oh, I love this one so much. I had so much fun with Tex Murphy.
The greatest game that we played, Mads?
Probably not, but it was actually, I mean, this was a month I went into thinking I'm not going to like this because I don't like FMV games, and I loved it. It was a beauty of a game. Great fun.
Yeah, I think you struggled with the opening, didn't you? And I was like,
I did.
Stick with it.
Yeah.
But I loved the Tex Murphy games. And if I think the Game Club had been around a little while longer, we definitely would have been playing Pandora Directive.
The next one.
Which is the sequel to...
Yeah, still up for doing that at some point, definitely.
We should, because there's about 4 of them, 4 or 5 of the FMV games, plus there's a couple of more traditional point-and-click games that preceded Under a Killing Moon.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember this
worth your time.
This was developed right by where I work now.
You took a picture, didn't you?
Went to the building and took a picture with my box copy. Yeah.
Access
software, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I guess they got
just come back.
Have they?
Yeah, I think they're one of those. I'm sure it's one of those things that's just been relaunched. You know.
Yeah.
Like there was another one, wasn't there? My Brain Man. But I'm sure it has.
That's cool. Yeah, they. That's how I heard they got Margot Kidder. I think she was because it's right by the airport here in Salt Lake, and so somehow they roped her in. Like, hey, you got a layover? Let's come and do some recording real quick. It's great.
That's awesome. Miss Lois Lane.
Lois Lane. I know. Wing Commander 3 for the 3DO. Why did we pick that one?
Because it was 3DO. We had a 3DO month. I think it was I had a 3DO when I was younger.
Yeah.
And this game finally encouraged me to get another 3DO and another FMV game, man. That's 2 FMV games back to back.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it was either that or Gex, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty slim pickings on the 3DO, to be fair.
It's not. There's so many good things on there. We could have played.
It's got a good Road Rash port.
Road
It
Rash.
has.
Yeah.
Could have played Captain Quasar. I think that's the one I was trying to get you guys to vote on. I can't remember if it made the vote or not. But
The gameplay of Wing Commander 3, though, doesn't really hold up, does it?
no.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I liked it. But I do have a nostalgia for those because I played lots of those on the PC, like the X-Wing, TIE Fighter, Privateer, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I found it quite a frustrating experience, but I loved the story.
Zookeeper, man, this was some competition. I mean, this is where I remember Donnie was just going nuts on this one. And why don't we go ahead and listen to Aaron Maupin's clip as he talks about why this was his favorite game.
Hi, this is Maupin with some thoughts on the Retro Asylum Game Club. So I started listening to Retro Asylum right as Chris Worthington joined, and it wasn't long before the Game Club episodes, as we know mostly with Maz and Chris, were my favorites. You guys went into such detail on the games, describing game mechanics and screen layout and music. It was all fantastic stuff. You guys made my morning commutes. I feel like I kind of abandoned the game club because I followed Maz and Chris over to playthrough, and while I've been fairly consistent playing along with the games over there, I haven't completed an RA Game Club game in years now, unless you count Bruce Lee, which I had already completed. But I always listen to the episodes, even, God help us, the racing ones, the Sonic ones. My standout memory of the game club is the Zookeeper High Score Challenge, because I won. I had a lot of fun playing Half-Life, limiting myself to only the crowbar. The game that came out of nowhere to surprise me the most in the game club was the Ghosts and Goblins PS2 3D platformer Maximo. That was such a fun game. Thanks, guys, for all the entertainment over the years, and I'll continue to listen to every episode because, frankly, there's no better retro gaming podcast.
And that was Aaron. And I don't know, I was almost not going to play this one, Maupin. You've given me, I have a feeling that you have it out for me and Jim. I know I decided to throw you in here, but you quote and said, even the racing ones and the Sonic ones.
Even listen to those ones.
Yeah,
even
that's
the racing ones.
Even, and I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's a poke at me and Jim. What do you think, Jim?
Hey, I stand by. Outrun 2 is an all-timer.
Right?
It is, to be fair. 100%. It's a classic.
RC Pro-Am? Come on.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that less so.
Oh, come on. That was all right. Freaking Aaron. I still love Aaron. But yeah,
playing Half-Life with the crowbar, though, was a absolute seminal game club.
That was
Half-Life with the crowbar.
I'm going to play through Half-Life with the crowbar. I had a hard enough time playing it, like
with the rocket launcher.
With the rocket launcher and saving every 5 seconds. So good on him for that. I love Aaron. He's great. And he loves Zookeeper because apparently he won that one. That's crazy because that was a lot of competition there.
Yeah,
Mad's favorite.
Mads'
favorite.
Theme Hospital?
Theme Radiator.
Theme Radiator, yes. Yeah. No, not my favorite. Not at all. Horrible, horrible game that I'd rather just forget I ever spent time playing.
And I have a wonderful T-shirt as a testament to Mads' love for the game, which has Theme Radiator on it.
That's good stuff. Mayhem and Monsterland for the C64. Was this one?
This was the first one I think Mads wasn't on. So that it was all of those episodes, and I think Mads missed this one. It was the first time. This is where maybe the start of the fatigue a little bit, because this is where we start to miss the odd episode here between us.
Yeah, could be.
So Dean and I did that one. I really enjoyed that game. It got a reprint, didn't it? Around the time I bought the reprint. It's a fun game. I mean, it doesn't stand up to the Japanese classics.
Yeah,
but it's a good game.
I think so. Yeah, I've played in the context of when it was released. Yeah, definitely.
And then we go to Half-Life. Man, again, this was just another classic one for me. I loved. I've never played it, and I always ever heard only great things about it, and kind of how it was like a big pivotal moment in first-person shooters. And it really was.
Some of the mods and like blue shift and was really cool as well.
It was.
Yeah, I remember Blue Shift as well, and
well, I did. I'm not sure whether you. So there was the Opposing Force and Blue Shift that I managed to get through in that month as well.
They're so good.
Yeah, very
Blue
good.
Shift was really good, I remember.
Yeah. I remember we played it, Chris. We'd just been to EGX, and we came back, didn't we? And we played it at yours. We was like we were sharing.
So that would have been 2 years ago, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah.
Yeah, we played the death match, didn't we? After
That's right. We played an online death match against people. Yeah.
That's great. Xenogears. Tell me about these 2 months I missed out on.
Yeah, I mean, I so again another classic from my childhood. I loved Xenogears. I think you've probably got to be you got to have that teenage angst, I think, to get the most out of what is a very anime story about basically killing God. But I still think it's a longer game than Final Fantasy VII. You didn't finish this, did you, Mads?
No, I never did.
Yeah, and it's a weird game because anyone who knows it's a 2-disc game, but the second disc, they ran out of money. So basically the last third of the game is just one big long cutscene interspersed with boss battles and one final dungeon. So you get sort of 55 hours of fully fleshed out RPG dungeons, etc., and then you get 12 hours of effectively just a big long cutscene. It's so in that sense it's quite rough, but I absolutely love it and would play through it again at the drop of a hat.
Wow, that's high praise. Maximo. Now, Maximo.
Yeah, that was a surprise. What a wonderful PlayStation 2 game. I loved that one. That was really good.
Yeah, I agree with Martyn. Probably the biggest surprise, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was well reviewed, but I didn't expect to enjoy it quite as much.
No.
Again,
I didn't even remember it being mentioned back in the day, so it was completely under the radar for me, but such a good surprise.
And there is another Maximo game, I think.
Yeah, Army of Zin.
So that would be another one you dive in. I remember really struggling with this one. I don't remember.
Very difficult.
Yeah, it was hard.
It was, I never finished this one. No.
Really? Yeah. Okay. I couldn't stop playing it, so...
I may have mentioned Dark Souls when we were playing Maximo, Mads.
You could have.
Sowing the seeds.
Here comes Roberta.
Roberta in the hot tub with...
So the only involvement she has is actually being in the hot tub on the cover, of course, because that was an L Love game.
Yeah.
So.
What a part, though.
What they talked her into that. That's so funny.
Soft porn adventure was good fun. For me, mostly as I like my text adventures, but seeing the roots of Leisure Suit Larry, I've played lots of those games when I was a kid, and seeing the roots of that was great fun. And that, as we say on the episode, is really just a story of Leisure Suit Larry 1 that was already there.
Yeah.
Sensible Soccer for the Amiga.
Yeah, I loved playing this. I mean, this is another one where we had a tournament. So we were playing online. I think I remember playing Dave Strikes 3. And maybe I think I might have played HeavyMetalDon as well. It was great.
I think I went out first round.
It was. I even managed to play a season in career mode as well during the course of the month, and as Tranmere Rovers, and really enjoyed it.
I was massively disappointed because I had putting on my rose-tinted spectacles. I love Sensible Soccer, and I've spent so much time playing it with my mates back in the day, but playing it by myself most of the time. I mean, bored the living daylights out of me. I mean, I loved playing this in 2-player with my mate, but picking it up today and just play it against the computer, that just left me cold.
Yeah. I remember having a hard time even just getting a game to load. Like I kept going into modes where I wasn't playing. I'm like, what is happening here? So I remember
read the manual, mate.
I remember struggling with that. Yeah, read the manual.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is another great spot for let's listen to John Shep. I love this clip because he has some good stuff to say. So here's John.
Hi folks, John Shepherd here, imaginatively known on Discord as John Shep 100, and I'm here to talk about my time with the Retro Asylum Game Club. Looking back at my listening and gaming habits, it seems I was a bit of a slow adopter to the Game Club. I started listening to Retro Asylum somewhere in 2017, but didn't get around to joining in with the Game Club until March 2020. I can't remember why exactly, but I suddenly seemed to have a bit more time on my hands for gaming. Anyways, I chose to ease myself in with a gentle game of Ikaruga. I remember being absolutely blown away by how much fun it was to play, and had grand visions of mastering the game and posting an epic score by the end of the month. Sadly, reality hit somewhere around the second boss, and I had to settle for well-deserved mid-table mediocrity. There were plenty more high-score challenges, but I can't say that my scores got any more impressive. Burger Time was the high-score challenge that drove me crazy, as racking up the combo kills needed to score big required a level of precision and pattern recognition that sucked all of the fun out of the game for me. Or maybe I just wasn't very good. My favourite high-score challenge was definitely Tapper. For some reason, manically trying to juggle multiple drinks across multiple bars at the same time put me in a zen-like state of flow. Funnily enough, looking back on the list, I can see that neither of those games was the main game for the month we played them, so I'm not sure that if they even count. But for me, it was often the non-high score games that really got me excited, particularly the adventure and puzzle games. Of all the games we played, it's hard to say which I enjoyed the most. Silent Hill holds the dubious honour of being my listener clip debut, a true horror if ever there was. WHB was a brain teaser that got me so hooked that I finished it all in one evening. Soft Porn Adventure was the game that took my text adventure virginity. It was over very quickly, but was fun while it lasted and had a happy ending. For And Day of the Tentacle got me finally putting some time into classic point-and-click adventures. For the worst game, I would have to say Tower of Doom was an absolute dog to play and pretty much put me off the Intellivision for good. But it really didn't matter how well the games played, because the best part about the Game Club was being able to share the experience with all the great folk on Discord, truly one of the nicest corners of the internet, and of course having the opportunity to share our thoughts in listener clips. I think my most abiding memory is of each of my own clips being followed by Mads sternly advising folks to keep their clips to under 3 minutes, an instruction that I never did manage to follow. So I'll finish off in good time by saying a big thank you to all the hosts for their hard work in putting the Game Club together and for bringing all of us listeners together. And as for the Game Club itself, hopefully we'll see you again after a well-deserved rest. Bye for now.
And that was John Shep letting us know about his text adventure mishaps and how much he loved the next game that we had on the list, which was Tower of Doom for the Intellivision. We're cut from the same cloth. I hate the Intellivision, and this is going to make Chris #1 O'Regan squirm, and I'm sure I'm going to get a message on Discord because he loves the Intellivision. I freaking hate it, and I've always hated it. And I think it has to do something with the controller, personally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Tower of Doom. So this is one I did with Chris O'Regan. It's it's a bit like having spent some time with Adventure on the Atari 2600 more recently. It's one of those that you've got to stick with it beyond the initial repulsiveness of everything about it. And if you do, there is
high praise. Yeah,
there is a game in there that's quite playable. It's one of those games that's really difficult to go back to now. And it doesn't emulate well because of the controller. You need those 16 buttons that the Intellivision controller have with a nice overlay. If you're trying to emulate it, you're probably going to have to do it with some keyboard. It doesn't really work.
Yeah. I hate it. I hate it so much. But I had a boxed Intellivision with probably 80 games, and about 50 of them were complete in the boxes. I would have just thrown it in the tip. I Yeah, I hated it so much. I don't have it.
You
It's
big
one of,
Atari fanboy.
it's one of the only systems I never kept. I got rid of like nothing, and that was what I got rid of. So there you go. That's my high praise. This was my debut, Game Cub debut, Pocky and Rocky for the Super Nintendo. Freaking love this game, man! I had a great time with it.
So tough, so tough though.
Yeah, what a fun shooter. I mean, we kind of called it run and gun. It was, I don't know, it was kind of we had some controversy there, and that's okay. But what a fun game that was.
Yeah. That was another one that Andy Gilmore lost himself to, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah, that's right. I remember Reese got really far in it. Reese.
Yeah, that was a great game. Really good.
Day of the Tentacle. That game sucks. I actually love this game. I had to use a guide because you know how I am with these games. But I did solve some of the puzzles on my own. This game was so beautiful, man.
Yeah,
it's like playing a cartoon, isn't it?
It was so fun, and
with the talkie version where you actually have it fully voiced. That was I remember being completely blown away back in the day when that was released.
Yeah, I mean, the game that inspires so many of the modern point-and-click games that get released, nowadays. Yeah. That they're either kind of, the King's Quest or Monkey Island or Day of the Tentacle, isn't it? You can almost tell just immediately by looking which one they've been inspired by.
Yeah, so good. WHB, so many people love this game. I loved it myself. I played it on my real Specky. Made me happy to have something to play. Matter of fact, I think you had to help me, Chris. I had to convert my file to work. It wasn't working or something.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I do remember. TZX or something.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. Get it converted to a tap file or something.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't work for some reason. But what a beautiful and kind of a monochrome game. I just loved it. Yeah, great puzzle game. Dungeon Master for the Atari.
I did this one with Paul Monahan, and although I had a great time recording with Paul Monahan, who's a good guy, I did not like this game, and it's probably the first game that we'd played where I really didn't like it, and it felt like a real chore to play. Lots of people love this game. I really did not get on with it.
Yeah. I tried. I had an ST hooked up at the time, and I have some discs that were left over, and even like saved discs, like 7 different saved discs for different people that I got this ST from. So it was obviously loved. I just didn't understand what I was doing, and that's just on me. But anybody else on that one? Did you play that one, Jim?
No, I never played that one.
No, me neither.
It was a tactical tap out.
It was. I was all over the next one, though.
Samurai Showdown, Mads and Chris, their favorite fighter game. How the hell did that game? Because you guys hated this game, as I recall.
I think it was. We decided we were going to try and embrace the one-on-one fighters, didn't we, Mads?
We failed miserably.
Yeah.
You picked one of the toughest ones to play, though, to be fair.
I was so bad at this game. Remember we had that online game?
We did, over on Fightcade, wasn't it? Yeah.
Remember? And I was so bad at this.
It was hard.
Terrible.
It was hard.
Yeah. I did not like them.
Devil May Cry. You guys love that one? 6 hours?
It was a return to form for me after 2 bad months playing a game that I really enjoyed, but it wasn't your favourite, was it, Mads?
No, I really didn't like it. I really did not have fun playing Devil May Cry, I have to say.
Yeah.
Planetscape?
Be fun to actually go back to Devil May Cry now, because maybe having finished like 3 Souls games and games that are more of that kind of game would make me look at it differently.
Possibly. It's so different, though.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm just misremembering.
Yeah.
I'd say that
it's more Resident Evil in some ways, because it's obviously the same.
Resident Evil is so much better.
I agree. Yeah, I enjoyed Devil May Cry. I'd love to try one. I'd love to try with the reboot, the DMC reboot.
Yeah. Was that
I imagine,
PS3? Was it sort of Xbox 360?
Yeah, if you get the mechanics right, I mean, that kind of stylish character action, like the Bayonetta stuff, I imagine could be very good fun.
Yeah. Or go and try Bayonetta. That was like a next sort of evolution on the original Devil May Cry. It's really, really good. Really good.
Yeah.
Planescape?
Planescape. Yeah.
Planescape Torment.
Planescape.
At last. It was far too long it took me to play this game. It's just a great one to talk about, wasn't it? Because there was so many different things, ways through the game, different endings. And we both finished this one, didn't we, Matt?
I don't believe I actually finished it. I came close, but I don't think I finished it.
You got some loose ends to tie up, man.
I do.
A lot on his plate, Chris. A lot on his plate.
I know. Yeah, I enjoyed this though. Yeah, and it's actually, I haven't played that. I'm itching to go back and play the original Baldur's Gate, which I didn't get very far in. But that's a big undertaking.
Yeah, we got another Amiga game, Soccer Kid. I thought for some reason this was on the C60, or not the C60. I thought it was on the 3D. We played this, but
yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, that must have been.
And maybe Martyn did as well. But it's to us Europeans, it's an Amiga game. I think first and foremost.
Okay, but did we possibly play the CD32 version or?
Yeah, I think we did.
Oh, okay.
I think I played the SNES version on the Evercade.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I had a dabble at that as well, and it got a Mega Drive port as well, didn't it? But yeah, this was a nice little surprise. I was not expecting to enjoy this game, but in the end, really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
managed to
quite
finish
good.
it.
It's a pretty game. This next game, I did not understand how to play Whizball, and man, it's got some love. So
I know. Even when it was explained to me, I still don't get it now.
Oh,
I don't remember it anymore. I do remember playing it and picking up those different colors, and then when you had enough different colors, you could do something, but it's just too complex for me to understand what was actually going on right now.
It's so hard.
I think once you get used to it, I don't think it really is that difficult. You just need to kind of read a guide to figure out what you got to do, and then
it never stops.
The music, the music is amazing.
Yeah, Chris O'Regan was a big fan of this one, wasn't he?
It's a good game.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
This is when we did the Atari 50th. This must have been over Christmas, as I recall.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. We never actually recorded an episode on it, did we?
Oh, it's a shame. RC Pro-Am. This is when I jumped in.
Me and you, mate.
Man, I was all excited. I was thinking, I'm going to get first place in here. And then Pix comes in and absolutely mops me up. And I never could beat him. Never could beat his score.
It's a very frustrating game.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. But I got second place there. A few times I got second place in the game club, so that makes me kind of happy. And then we had, after that fun game, we had Jim join us and do some Sonic. So this must have been Moppin's favorite time when we played RC Pro-Am, Sonic 2 on the Master System.
This was a great game.
That was rough.
It was all right.
Good.
I think we
go back to the episode, Mark. You hated it just as much.
Did I hate it that bad? Okay. I'm just now that Jim's here, I'm like, oh no, it wasn't so bad, but
it's good. Or maybe it's my nostalgia. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's my action biker, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah. Keo Flying Squadron 2. I didn't hate this one. It was
I like
pretty.
that.
Lovely to look at as well.
Yeah.
Great game.
Absolute crazy as a box of cows.
Yep.
But fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Blade Runner. I think I was the only one that really super enjoyed this game. And Steve, I remember Steve had my back on this one, but man, I loved the Blade Runner.
The biggest disappointment?
How?
Possibly, yeah, for me. Yeah. And because I had big expectations to it. This was one of the games that people have been talking about. I love my point-and-click adventure games. This is kind of like a point-and-click adventure game. Right. And people have been talking about this for many, many years. It's a great game with multiple, like they always said, millions of outcomes. And I bought it even back in the day, just a year or two after it was released. And I've always wanted to play it, never got around to it. And when I finally did, it was a huge disappointment.
Yeah. Oh, what a shame. I still think back to that game I just loved it. I don't know what it was about it.
Well, it just shows, doesn't it? I mean, it didn't work for me. I enjoyed it back in the day, but it certainly didn't work for me going back to it. But
Fair.
different, yeah.
This is what I got me an Xbox game in here. Hallelujah, Panzer Dragoon Orta.
This is when things start going south. Panzer Dragoon Orta, Sega CD, Outrun 2. Oh my god, those 3 months almost killed me.
I really enjoyed Panzer Dragoon.
Panzer Dragoon Orta was actually really good. Really good.
Yeah, I know you guys liked it. I must have played it twice, and I did go through the tutorial. I did figure out how to play it. Get to level 3, something like that, and it was just so boring. It's a paint by numbers kind of game for me.
Wow! Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I'd love to go back and play the original on the old Saturn. Yeah. That's one game that I've never played.
Yeah, and the RPG is meant to be really good as well.
Yeah.
So one thing you can say about Panzer Dragoon Orta was that it was really, really beautiful. I mean, for the old Xbox, it was really.
Well, the Xbox was absolute technical powerhouse, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I played it upscaled on the Series X.
Yeah.
And honestly, it looked just like a current game.
Yeah.
It looked incredible.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Sonic CD, the best Sonic game in the 16th
The best
era.
Sonic game ever made. Clearly, because that was the assignment Jim was given.
Jim will never live this down.
So Mark, do you remember how we put this to Jim? We said you failed miserably with the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Sega Master System. It was such a bad game. So could you please pick a game that shows us and the listeners that Sonic is actually a good franchise? And then he goes and picks Sonic CD.
Yeah.
Which is like it's like the perfect one to play, really, because it was the same guy that developed that as the original the Master System games, wasn't it? So
beautiful. Yeah. Horrible.
No, I stand by it. It's not the best Sonic game, which was the brief, but it's all right.
I do have
the level design is just downright horrible. The graphics are good. The sound is brilliant. It should be good playing this game, but it just isn't because of the level design. Sonic 2, on the other hand, that's a good game. That's a great game.
Yeah. In hindsight, I probably should have picked Sonic 1 on the Master System instead of 2, and then Sonic 2. But it's nice to play something different, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, that's fair. This was Outrun 2. I'm so glad that one won. So 2 Xbox games,
such
almost back
fest.
to back.
Oh, this was great.
Yeah, I mean, Outrun 2 is an absolute classic of its type, of that arcade racing type.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
a beautiful game as well.
Yeah,
really beautiful.
I had fun with that.
Coast to Coast on the PS2 as well, the definitive version of it, amazing.
And Outrun 2 wasn't a bad game for me either in any way, shape, or form. It's just only fun for 5 minutes. That's how I feel about those kind of games. 5-10 minutes, and then I don't want to see it again for next week. So So for a game club format, a racing game has to be something special for me to enjoy it.
Should have been Burnout 3. I'm telling you, that's the one that we should have played. That game is,
or maybe something like less arcadey, like a Gran Turismo on the PS or something like that.
Yeah, that would have had a bit more depth, I think.
Yeah,
a little bit easier to kind of get your teeth into. But I don't know, there is something nice about just mindlessly throwing on an arcade racing and blazing around. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, Burnout 3 Takedown was my choice, I think, is what I really wanted to play. But maybe later. Shining Force CD, which, I mean, I can't believe I picked it over Arc the Lad, I think it was.
You guys were Shining Force CD was great. I remember I couldn't put this down. I was just playing it constantly.
Same. Had so much fun with that one. Bruce Lee for the C64. You guys love your Bruce Lee. I suck at it so bad.
Specky version, of course.
No.
Is the greatest.
Master System version.
Cheetah version.
This is when we played StarCraft. I thought StarCraft was older than this. That's weird.
That was quite recent,
yeah, last year.
Yeah, it was great. Chris finally playing through it. It was good fun talking to you.
I never finished that final campaign.
Oh no, you didn't.
This is my loose end.
Oh
yeah, okay. I struck. As you know, Mads, as you remember, I struggled with it a little bit, and that struggle went into Age of Empires 2 as well. I mean, I just don't think I really enjoyed real-time strategy games.
Yeah, but you like the Command and Conquer style, which is for me not a real-time strategy game. It's too action-oriented and so on.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Then.
Yeah, maybe that is it. Yeah, I don't like real-time strategy games that don't have the words Command and Conquer in their title.
Fair.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's we got a couple more clips here. Let's listen to Monster Hyde and get his take.
Hello, this is Rich, otherwise known as Monster Hyde on the Discord chat. So one of my favourite Game Club memories that I'm going to talk about today is probably Advance Wars on the Game Boy Advance. This is memorable for quite a few reasons, not only because it was already a game that I really enjoyed, having previously played the DS version and really enjoying turn-based combat games in general, but this one was a bit more than that in terms of it was the game that really sort of made me join in with the game club, both on the Discord chat and in terms of playing along with the game with everybody else in the on Discord. And I think really because I'd joined Discord and the Retro Asylum in March 2018, and I hadn't really participated in anything up until this point. I mean, I'd listened to a few episodes here and there, but when Advance Wars came up, it really sort of pushed me to play along and join in, and it was this point at which I think I found out just how much of a great community that the Retro Asylum is, as everybody that I interacted with, both in terms of when I was playing through this game and since, everybody's just always been really good, really welcoming, and generally it's just a community that I've really enjoyed being a part of and continue to enjoy being a part of. So I'd just like to say thank you to anybody that I've ever interacted with on Discord, and anybody that I've met on various arcade club meetups. It's always been really a great pleasure to be able to share these memories with you. In terms of the hosts as well, I think everybody who's hosted it over the years has always brought something a little bit different to the game club itself, and the way that the way that they host, the way that everybody has different opinions and different memories of different systems. It all comes together to make such a good show. So really grateful that I've been able to be a part of that, and also really grateful that I was able to record on a couple of episodes with you guys, which I never would have expected. So thank you to everybody that I've met, everybody that I've recorded with. It's a shame that the Game Club is going to go on a little bit of a hiatus for a while, but obviously the Retro Asylum podcast will be continuing, and he's hoping that it'll be around for a long time to come yet, and I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with next.
And that was Rich talking about his time with the Game Club. He's been on for quite a while, and Advance Wars was the game that got him into. I guess he started listening to way before that, but Advance Wars I think was the game that made him jump. So it's pretty good. We're getting close to the end of the list here, guys. I know. Bear with me. It's only 3 a.m. here where I'm at.
Luckily, it's not even going to bed now, Mark.
Luckily, it's Sunday. Yeah, I mean, I may just stay up. Yeah, lucky it's Sunday for me, so I'll be able to sleep all day, no problem. So
we used to call that breakfast club. So when I was in the military, if we was away on like detachment and we'd got like a night out and like a shift off the next shift, and you wanted to like have a few beers, but then you lasted the night into the morning, we called it breakfast club.
Breakfast club. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Indiana Jones. This was Donnie's pick. I think he actually picked it for the ST, but we said sorry, we're playing it on DOS. I don't remember what happened there, but.
God, remember Donnie saying he plays it every year at Christmas, and we thought, must be really good then.
Mads warned you, though, to be fair. Mads warned you.
Yeah, I'm glad I played this to tick it off the LucasArts list, but it's fair to say that what came afterwards is a marked improvement.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, who ever thought that action and fighting in a point-and-click adventure would be fun? I mean,
that fights, man.
So dumb.
Remember in the castle when your health loss was cumulative as well?
Yeah.
So,
oh, man.
Jesus Christ.
I ended up cheating.
Yeah.
Just save stating through that, I think.
After every punch. Save state.
Yeah. It was so horrible. Yeah.
Like playing Pry.
No, I didn't save state. That's not it. Somebody found out that you could. I forget how we do it, but there was something you could do that
wasn't there?
That would make your strength like incredible. So you just had to land one punch.
Yeah, I never did that, but I did save state the death out of it.
Okay, yeah.
Donkey Kong Country. I absolutely adored this game. That was fun.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, this was a win for me. Yeah, definitely. I really want to play the second and third one now as well, and the rest. Maybe when wouldn't it be cool to add Donkey Kong Country to the community playthrough, like when we're at the end of one of them?
Yeah. Hey, I'd love to go back and play two, and I don't. No, I did finish 3. Yeah. Two's like the perfect one out of the trilogy, really, because it's like the best bits of 1, and it doesn't overdo it like 3 does.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this more than I was expecting to.
Yeah, really good game.
Castlevania. This was one where it was kind of a shameful backlog. I think this is a game that I have sitting on the shelf that I never played. And I'm
probably into this year now, aren't we? I think this was early part of this year.
Yeah.
Lots of style.
Yeah, not
Very
so much
happy.
substance, really.
Yeah.
It was a weird game to be playing because it had parts that were brilliant, and it looked good, and it sounded good, and it was good fun to play, and lots of parts that were just a slog to get through. So all in all, my experience playing it wasn't that positive in the end. No. But I'm glad I ticked it off the list, and I'm glad I played all the way through it. But you need to have an opinion on Castlevania Symphony of the Night. You need to finish it because there are 2 distinct parts that are so different in style and more so in difficulty that it makes the game completely different.
True. Makes sense. And I didn't do the flip. I only finished.
Yeah, if you haven't done the flip, you don't really know the bad parts because the bad parts come there. So
that's why I'm good. I'll just be done with it. I'm happy.
Yeah, just stop there. Yep.
Half time.
Oh my! Super skid marks. What?
Oh my god!
The hell! I seriously thought something was broken when I was playing this game. I'm like,
this might be the month that killed the game club.
Yeah, you guys all killed it for running. Seriously.
And do you remember, Mark? You eliminated some absolute classics.
I don't.
And then you went for super skid marks.
I don't remember that. This wasn't my pick.
I mean, I remember Chris and I talking afterwards. I mean, what did we do? How did we let the kids decide this? How could it go so wrong?
What's our game club come to?
Yes. For the listeners who don't remember, it was Mark, Steve, and Dean who actually got to pick the game for the game club. And for some reason, we gave them some. There were some lists with some good games on, and it just went so.
I remember one of you picked like a shooter, and that looked incredible.
Banshee.
That was probably Banshee, right?
Banshee, yeah.
Yeah, it might have been, yeah.
Yeah, we had
really
Universe, and remember, didn't Steve call Universe a museum game or something?
Encyclopedia, I think he called it. Yes, he clearly hadn't actually tried to fire it up. He just looked at a few images.
A screenshot.
Yes. It's supposedly a really beautiful point-and-click game.
I mean, he normally gets as far as YouTube, but I think he literally looked at a screenshot for that.
So he called it Encarta or Encyclopedia the game, something like that. Yeah.
Well,
we had Benefactor on that list as well, a beautiful platform puzzler. We had Banshee. Steve had Banshee and Super Skid Marks, and there was some real corkers there, but they ended up with that. So
yeah, I probably should have stuck with Banshee. I'll give you that. Banshee might have been a little bit better. Oh well. Super Skid Marks was the beginning of the end. Conker's Bad Fur Day. Pretty fun. Overall, I struggled with the controls.
Yeah, me too.
But
I think it starts off strong. It does start for me. It started off strong, and it just gets worse and worse as it goes on. But it started off well.
Yeah,
and the music was great.
It's a funny game, isn't it? In a lot of ways, because there are kind of moments in the game where you are having fun, and then you're doing something completely different, but there are so many rough spots, storming the beaches that, for me though, it'll always be the game I play whilst in Japan on the Steam Deck, and that it'll always have a special place in the heart for that.
Yeah, and that boss fight, as we mentioned 5 hours ago with the the Great and Mighty Pooh, that was just something special, wasn't it?
5 hours ago.
5 hours to say. I haven't. No, come on. Well, I guess it is getting. We're almost done. Let's go ahead and let's get. We got 3 more clips here. Let's go ahead and listen to Deadlock.
Hey guys, this is Martyn Stevenson, aka Deadlock. I know I haven't been on the forum a lot lately, but I still listen into a lot of the episodes. The Games Club has been fantastic. Thanks so much for all your work on it. I have some great memories of it, of playing games I would have never played before. I completed Donkey Kong on the Game Boy, and I remember doing that because I was after modifying my original Game Boy to put a Bivert chip into it and played the whole game through on it. I really enjoyed that. Another one that comes to mind is Devil's Crush on PC Engine, which actually caused me to buy a PC Engine, which I got in America. And while I was over there, Kit was kind enough to send me a 2600 as well. I've had quite a bit of contact with you guys and try and help out as much as I can with things in the background if possible, but really enjoyed the Game Club, and the work and time you guys put into it is just fantastic. Thanks for everything.
And that was Martyn. I love Martyn's accent from Ireland. It's the best. And Martyn, we always like to shout him out because he's always does the covers, the PDF for that, and he does stuff behind the scenes. He does that for a lot of podcasts, and I think he's an unsung hero.
He's great.
So
great fun as well. I had a good time with him up in Nerg a couple of years ago, and then meeting up at one of the revival shows. Yeah, great guy.
That's great. So we are getting close to the end. We got 2 more games. One that's, I don't know, maybe we'll never cover. Kirby multiple games. I remember playing this, and I just played the first one. I'm
glad you can remember. It was only about 2 months ago.
How come it feels like it was an eternity ago?
It was actually supposed to be just the Game Boy games, the handheld games, the Kirby games that we were playing, but people quickly jumped to the NES game and so on instead. Yeah.
That NES game is really good.
I went down a rabbit hole with this one. I ended up playing loads. I've played Triple Deluxe on the 3DS as well.
Yeah, the pinball game. And the crazy golf game was, forget whatever it's called, the one on the SNES.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Kirby's Dream Land 2 was really good.
Yeah,
something wrong.
Dream Land is good as well, but quite some.
It's a Dream Course, I think it was.
Dream Course.
Yeah, sounds right.
I was so into that and couldn't finish that game. Yeah, these have been really good. Definitely a series I'm going to go back to.
Yeah, there's a lot of Kirby games to play. Labyrinth, another great cover art. People love to see
immortalized, mate.
Yeah. David Bowie there, Chris Bowie.
Yeah, and a good episode. And the last one, I think the last of the what was the Game Club episodes.
Yeah.
And a good game to end on. It was good fun to see that classic game and see whether it's still held up today. It's
another nice one to tick off the list.
Yeah,
definitely. And then Age of Empires is one that Blake popped in, and I guess it was listener's choice, and we kind of picked that one. And honestly, I've played it. I've probably sunk 20, 30 hours into it. I'm really enjoying it. So slowly working my way through it, but yeah, I like it.
So we can just decide that is actually the Game Club game right now, and when we pick up the Game Club again, we can do that episode, because then you'll have a couple of years to finish it, Mark.
I'll never finish it. It's so big. It's so big. Oh my gosh. Speaking of Blake, let's go ahead and let's listen to Blake's clip.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hi everyone, this is Blake Brett, otherwise known as Phoenix Z80 in the Discord forums, and hopefully I can get this in time, and Kit will include my comments on the Game Club game. So yeah, sorry for the last minute submission, but yeah, I'm just going to go over a few of my particular highlights from the Game Club and my favourite memories. One of my earliest memories of the Game Club is actually playing Balloon Fight on the NES. I was quite good at this game, and I think it was when the game, Discord wasn't around, and I'm not sure whether the Game Club had officially started. It was a post that Mads had started on the old forum posts. So yeah, because it was the first one, and because I did quite well in it, that's one of my early memories of one of my favorite games. California games, definitely remember sinking some time into this. It got quite competitive. It was quite good that there were about 5 or 6 different kind of like sports within the single game. So if you were not good at one, you might be particularly good at, kind of like the Frisbee or the BMX. So that was quite good. A little bit of variety within a game. 720 degrees, they're now legendary 720 degrees episode. I like skateboarding. It was the first time I played a Commodore 64 game, so actually getting to grips with the emulator and trying to play the tape was my first challenge. But then after breaking out the arcade joystick and connecting it and using that and the emulator, I got quite good at the game. So yeah, I enjoyed that. Midwinter was a really strange one for me at first. I'd never really played a game where there was almost like a full story, like a novella at the start of it that completely, kind of like told the what had happened just before the game starts, kind of like a prelude to what's happened beforehand. And I really got involved in that story. It really sunk me into the game. I wasn't really that good at the game. I only played it a few times, but just the whole experience of playing it kind of really stuck with me. And I know I brought it up quite a few times in other episodes as well. Supercars 2, brilliant. Everyone got involved. Manic Miner on the ZX Spectrum. To think I would ever loop Manic Miner before I'd played it in the Game Club was, it was just a pipe dream to me. But with everyone's involvement in that and spurring you on and going for it, it really was kind of like a self-achievement. Advance Wars on the Game Boy Advance, that I still think about that now. It's for some reason it always pops into my head every Saturday. I don't know why why that particular day, but yeah, I wasn't great at the game, but still enjoyed it. But one of the games that I haven't mentioned yet, and I'm probably going to have to go back and pick it as one of my favourites, was probably Devil's Crush. Now, I wasn't particularly great at the game. I think at this stage, a lot more people had started to get involved in the Game Club, and competition got a bit more fierce. So rather than playing to win, I was more playing to take part. But Devil's Crush was definitely the game where the Game Club kind of went up a level. It started to become really, really popular. Obviously, it's a pinball game. Everybody can do the pinball game. I even had, kind of at the time, it was probably about 5 years old, my youngest son just having to go on my phone on a controller. the left and right paddles. It was brilliant, and submitted a score in his name. And I just remember that was the game for me that really kind of took off in the game club. Everyone, a lot more people started to become involved with it, and kind of really enjoyed it. I could actually waffle on about the game club for quite some time. I know I did in the previous episode of the movie club podcast. Shoehorn a little plug in there. I talked about the game club and my particular favourites. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to say thank you to everyone that helped put it on, everyone that helped take part. Some games were more popular than others, but it shall ever stay in my history as being something great. And it's not going away. It's still there. It's a lot more effort to put on. There's a lot more different people taking part on what they want to do in the high score challenge and so forth. So we will leave it as it is. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much, guys. See you soon.
And that was Blake, Phoenix Z80. He's been here doing this stuff since the beginning of time. I think he's been an early RA adopter, right?
Yeah.
He's done quizzes for us over the years, which I absolutely love. I've been to, I think, all of them but one. And yeah, good stuff. And so here we are towards the end of the game club. Again, I know I don't want to go too long here. And I just wanted to, again, wrap a bow around it, talk about our memories, talk about the games. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we kind of wrap this up with some texts, as well as I think I've got one more listener clip to pop in. What do you think?
No, I think we've covered it all, haven't we? It's been we've had a great run at it. And as I said, this is not the end of these style of episodes. Certainly not the end of Retro Asylum. I think it's just a put on ice, a format. But there's so much more in the work. We've already had the first of the Evercade series. We've got other kind of types of episode in the works. I'm also getting an idea, which I won't mention now, about something that we could do as a bit of a kind of offshoot of some of this stuff we've been talking about. So there's so much more stuff along those lines where we'll have the community playing along with us. And I think that's been what's the most fun about the game club, has been getting listeners involved, challenges, and just having fun. It's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Mads? Anything else you want to?
Yeah, it's been a great ride. I've enjoyed it, and I've loved that everybody have been getting involved and sending us in clips, especially that part. I always enjoy when people send in their clips and talk about what they think about the game. And so thank you to all the listeners for keeping this going with us for so many years. And it'll be back at some point.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and finish this off with our written clips here. And we've got 4 of them here, which works out perfect. And again, thanks everybody for sending in their clips, sending in your thoughts and everything. Like I said, I'm glad we're able to do this. I know it's kind of a longer episode for us, but everybody seems to like one long episode once in a while for those long commutes. So Mads is going to start off here with picks.
I am. So just make believe that I sound British now, right? You ready? Okay. So Big says, I've listened to RA since the start, but I'm a relative newbie to Game Club and didn't join it until Xenogears in 2021. Such a great start, a game I'd never heard of on a system I barely used. I got completely sucked into the story and remember losing an entire weekend to it while trying to catch up to Roushimsx. That's hard going. I can't have missed many months since then. The club has given me the impetus to make use of systems that spend far too much time gathering dust otherwise. You've also made the problem worse by persuading me to pick up the likes of an Xbox when someone decided that counted as retro. Mark.
That's me.
Highlights for me are the games I'd never played in a million years, but still got me hooked when I gave them a chance. Battling for the RC Pro-Am high score with Kit, learning all the little tricks to get through Pucky and Rocky, trial and erroring my way through Soccer Kit. I'd never have spent the time to learn any of these otherwise. You've got me out of my adventure/DOS gaming comfort zone, although we've had a few of them along the way too. I wish I'd joined sooner, but even with Game Club on hiatus, I'm sure RA will keep introducing me to games I've been missing out on for years to come. Yeah, nice words. Thanks, Pix.
Thanks, Pix. Yeah. Good battling on RC Prime, I agree.
Yeah.
Jim,
next
you
one.
got, Roushie. Cool.
Roushie, or is it Roshi, as you say it, Chris?
Roshi.
Loshi. The Retro Asylum Game Club has been awesome over the years. It started off as a great way to pass the time on the Bury St Edmunds to Lincoln Drive, with the 720 and Devil's Crush episodes providing lots of laughs. I'm guessing that must be, a 2-hour drive?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Eventually, I joined the Discord and got to know a lot of the people that have been getting mentioned, and it was a blast getting to actively partake in the club each month. Well, most months. My favourite theme each year was always RPG month, and it pushed me to clear out my backlog of RPGs and got me to check out different versions of games I'd never have thought to play. I couldn't believe how great Planescape Torment was, even today. Xenogears more than lived up to the hype, and having 2 months to play Eves 1 and 2 meant I could spend time with some of the versions that didn't get mentioned a lot, like the Famicom and the Master System releases. I'm still holding out to hope that Arcanum gets picked one of these days. Already have it installed on the laptop and ready to go. I'm super thankful that you all let me make a short list of PS2 titles 1 month or 2. I know it's a bit newer than what most people our age would call retro, but Maximo was the only Ghosts and Goblins game that was remotely manageable for me, and it was a blast working through it with the crew. Yeah, it was a good game. I need to go back and finish that. It felt like everything we played from that generation for the club was rock solid. If it hadn't been for the Game Club, I'd never have gotten Panzer Dragoon Auto or Devil May Cry out of the backlog because I was intimidated by their difficulties. But sharing strategies and tips with each other in Discord made them so much fun to play through. Yeah, nicely put.
Did he say he liked Panzer Dragoon Ortomats as an Xbox game?
I think he did.
Weird.
And Devil May Cry.
That's true.
Right, so we'll move now to Namco's. He says, just wanted to say how much I enjoyed Game Club when you had it on, and I hope the hiatus isn't too long. I recall joining in the Final Fantasy VII month, but it could have been earlier. I don't remember. My favourite game? I'll be a bit different. My favourite new game, is Under a Killing Moon, new game, 1994. Followed closely by Tower of Doom on the Intellivision.
Wow.
I found the 3D interface for Under a Killing Moon to be quite novel, especially when adventure games were a derivative of the point-and-click variety. Tex Murphy Games had already done this in the previous 2 entries. Tower of Doom was a nice little NetHack/roguelike game on the D&D brand and worked well with the graphics and control scheme. It just shows you that mileages vary.
Yeah, it does.
The 2 games that I recall pushing my high schools were Manic Miner and Tapper. Did we mention Tapper on that list?
I think that was one of the high score games, wasn't it? Maybe that got brought in for RPG or something.
Yeah, sounds right.
Maybe. With Manic Miner, it was great to finally complete the game, and even better to push scores by looping the game, showing how much repetitive stamina you had to redo the levels over and over. My Tapper experience came from the ZX Spectrum port. The arcade version felt a lot tougher than that.
Yeah.
2 games I'd rather play than the popular pick were Benefactor from the CD32 list, or any other 32 game. No, I'm adding that in. And Leander from the Amiga list. The winners were Super Skid Marks, CD32, and Soccer Kid on the Amiga. However, I did play Benefactor anyway, as well as the Super Skid Marks, due to not having the full attention of Super Skid Marks. It was a tougher game than the original, and really appealed to those that wanted more. Soccer Kid appealed more to football fans, and not being one, this title didn't interest me too much. I did try it, and liked the skill of how the football was used against enemies and item pickups, but it's not something I'd personally return to. I think the issue with the pick sometimes came from the fact that popular games were mostly picked over lesser known and more interesting titles. Here. Again, thanks to Retro Asylum for the Game Club. It helped me to complete games such as Manic Miner and Final Fantasy VII. It also introduced me to new games that I'd never played before. There was also some good community competition during the high score challenges. I hope the Game Club returns soon.
I love it.
Yeah.
Good
nice
words.
Message.
Yeah.
So we did actually try to work against the whole thing with the popular games always getting picked by limiting the vote in the end to just Discord, because we just wanted the people who would be playing the games to vote for them instead. And I guess that failed miserably, didn't it?
No, it was just because the Super Skid March, I think, was still an external.
Was it though?
I think it
Can't
was.
have been.
I think we only started towards the end, but I'm not sure.
I think Conquer. I think Conquer was a group Discord group pick.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
So last clip here we got from Stephen James. And I wanted to save this one to the last because I like what Stephen says. It says, I wonder whether you fellas might consider having a Game Club special episode in the future called From the Cutting Room Floor. We could all play the games that we should have been playing in the Game Club, but instead we're deselected for the likes of skid marks. I'm thinking Snatcher, Banjo-Kazooie, etc. It's never too late to say sorry. And I love that. So.
I love that. Lemmings 2, they both got booted, didn't they?
Yeah.
Multiple times, I think. Yeah.
But what we got to remember is for everyone's game that they really don't want to play is someone's game that they really do want to play. So you can't please everyone.
Nah, you can't. And I mean, really, overall, we had what a spread of games. I mean, we tried not to wax too lyrical, but I mean, on all of these games, but it was, I mean, we each had so much fun with each one of these games, you know? It's just, what a great spread. But, any final words there, Jim?
No, I think it's all been summed up really, really well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And like I say, it's not the end of the Game Club. It will be back.
So, guys, let's finish off on something hard then.
All right, let's hear it.
Everybody, you've just right on the spot. Pick a favorite. What's your favorite game from this list?
Oh,
Mark, I'm gonna throw it to you first.
Probably for me, I'm probably gonna have to pick. It's between the two PC Engine games, Bonk's Revenge or Devil's Crush.
Yeah.
I had the most fun with those. I'll pick Bonk's Revenge.
Good. Yeah, great game.
It was a surprise for me.
And if you say Sonic, I'm going to hit you.
If I'm not allowed to pick Sonic 2. Mate, I fired it up the other day when I was away. Right, so if I'm going to play one of those games now, I'm going to fire it up. Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, yeah, great game.
Yeah.
Good choice. Chris?
So I'll go with the one that I had the most fun playing as part of the group.
Yep.
Not my favorite game, and that would be Manic Miner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't pick a favorite, so I just gave you an assignment. I can't myself. So I'm going to do just like Chris. The game I had most fun trying to get into, the two games were probably Dodonpachi and Metal Slug 3. But I'll probably say Metal Slug 3 because that high score challenge, just trying to just get more than Andy and perfecting those levels, that was such good fun. Beauty of the game.
Yeah. That's a great way to finish it up, Mads. I appreciate that. What a fun list. And I can't wait to see what we're doing in the future. I agree. I can't wait to listen to episodes I'm not on, as well as hopefully get some other cool things out there. So any shout outs before we wrap this thing up?
Just a shout out to everybody who's played along with us on the Game Club games for the last 6 and something years. Everyone who's left Discord comments, who's sent in listener clips, who's posted scores, who's given us grief for the games that we've picked and the games we've eliminated, and thanked us for the games we've chosen, and the other guys as well who've always been there, telling us how much they wouldn't want to be playing the games that we've been playing in the Game Club. So, and also to King Trilo as well for his continue carrying the flame of the Game Club into his high score challenges as well.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, I'd echo that. And shout outs to the Retro Game Squad as well. It was on their forums that this idea started, and we started playing the games as a group, and some of those people followed on over to our Discord later on. So shout out to those guys for putting the idea out there for us to jump at.
Yeah, and I'll shout out you guys as well, just for being the focal point of so many people's gaming for so long.
Yeah, likewise. It was Chris and Mads from the beginning. Was honored to be able to join in on some of them, and I was able to play some games I've wanted to. And there's still a couple I'd love to throw in. Man, Rad Racer and Punch Out for the NES. I need to get in here somehow. So
you need to rope in a willing victim for that, mate.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
maybe if we can do Super Punch Out as well.
Oh God, okay. We'll play Tug and War, Jim. We'll play Tug and War. Yeah, I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun for me. Thanks for letting me do this. And let's fight the good fight. We'll do some more retro stuff coming up.
Cheers, guys.
Okay.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
From now on, unlike your parents were, you are the secret force of Retro Asylum.
Playing so fast, they're the only ones who can take you back in time. They play old games, they're more retro than J1 Optimus Prime. Had to go more to the arcade for adventures in a fantasy zone.